Who wants to recap what happened in the last session?
Stefan kept running in and out because his wife was feeling bad,
Yes.
and he
Yep.
finally left. That's all I know.
Okay.
Sword trained some revolutionaries.
I can try to boil all of it down into a TLDW. Okay. Too long didn't watch. Alright. So, mostly this was secret speaking with a lot of people. So, the general gist of his first conversation, which was secret with Quelkek, the general idea was that Secret is recruiting Quelkek into the party, shares confidential information as well. Basically, they speak vaguely about Quelkek's condition, as well as basically Secret flat out saying that, hey, my god said something about you. They also spoke about Marius Wickman, the Soulbinder, and Secret uh, basically uh, tried to push Quelkek or encourage Quelkek into trying to study under the guy while also being cautious, because who knows what motives he has in trying to teach Quelkek. The next conversation was pretty much Ash and Zorg. Pyre pretty much tuned out most of the conversation because he didn't want to be incriminated in any way to the rebellion. But Zorg and Ash both pretty much flat out said that, yeah, we kind of joined the rebellion. They didn't add in any other notes like, oh, it's just a spy on them. Nope, they joined the rebellion. Secret Secret pretty much says uh Secret essentially says like that's fine. It doesn't go really against what he's attempting to do right now. Let's see. I think I think the conversation might have gone in a couple circles where I believe Ash was trying to hint at we might not you might not like the leaders now, but it could be worse, essentially. At the very least, he expressed that to me privately. Uh, you guys gave up the name of Darren Stormwright and also dropped the name of Droogle. Seeker was mad about that you guys didn't step in to try to dissuade Droogle from pursuing mercenary work. Uh, Zorg was trying, and Zorg was trying to say that he didn't remember any names. Let's see. Don't remember if there was anything else really important in the rebellion talk. Oh, you guys also mentioned the work permit fraud, as well as basically illegal human trafficking of foreigners into Veer to employ as cheap labor. It gave Secret a bunch of avenues of attack for his future meeting. And I don't remember if there was any other important notes in that conversation. Uh, the next conversation was Secret with Pyre, and you guys did speak philosophy, but to boil all of it down, essentially, Secret told Pyre about the idea of ascension that Serkava had mentioned to Secret earlier. Neither of you seemed particularly interested because, for your own various reasons, especially because the way Serkava put it is that you'd essentially become a pawn of the gods if you take the power.
At least we
Uh,
expressed as much. Keep in mind that what a character says is not what a character is.
yep. Yeah, that at the very least, that's what you guys outwardly expressed to each other. Uh, After that, Secret called Zorg in to talk about his vengeance. And boiling a lot of that conversation down, there were various arguments. He was talking about how there was a lot of personal player theories, but to boil it all down, effectively, you guys don't currently know what Ascendance does. You guys also don't quite know what divinity means. And although Zorg might hate Zygon and possibly some of the other gods of the Pantheon, Secret effectively said, well, they could be worse. So the status quo might be better right now. And there were a bunch of theories. I might as well just mention a couple. Some of the theories included perhaps there was a previous pantheon that existed before this pantheon, and then that pantheon was overthrown. The idea that souls were probably made out of magic, or made out of mana, and perhaps everything in this universe is made out of mana. The idea that perhaps ascendancy is not permanent and that power could be taken away. A lot of theories, but unfortunately, you haven't seen anything, and I'm not going to give any of that information away. At the very least, I believe for right now, Zorg at least expressed that he was going to stay his hand, right? Could you confirm that, Zorg?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
So, did Secret dissuade you from your path of vengeance for the time being?
Are you asking in character or out of character?
Out of character.
Um,
At the very
I'd
least,
say
this
it's
recap.
I'd say it's at least a 20% chance Zorg attacks Zygon.
Okay, so at the very least, he's more reluctant to immediately attack Zygon. We'll see how that
If I
changes.
may, I believe what Zorg had expressed last session was that he would think. That he
He
would
would think
think
about it.
on what
Okay.
was said. He didn't make any promises one way or the other.
Okay, so it's a maybe. Effectively, yeah, it's a maybe. He says 20%, but the answer is still the same. It's a maybe. Okay. After that, Secret left to go off to his meeting. He's probably going to arrive early because some of you other party members are going to be arriving soon. Zorg left to go train some militia this day because that was what he had promised. He took Ash with him, and Quelkick wandered over to the training grounds. Over by the public training grounds, right next to the Colosseum of Steel. Zorg was busy at work drilling a lot of the NPCs, including the 4 named NPCs you guys have met before. Frankie shows promise as a rogue, being a quick, dexterous fighter. Boris showed that he's got incredible strength, capable of one-hitting some of the trainees. Mason showed incredible endurance, and Anton the beggar that you saved from the underground sewers from the mind flayers. Anton didn't seem to excel in any particular field, so Zora gave him a bow and encouraged him to start shooting. And then Drugel dueled Zorg. They effectively tied, basically.
May I make a edit because I was not there?
Okay.
If given the choice, and I will even put money towards this, Pyre would have voiced an opinion that training with a crossbow is easier than training with a bow. You want to teach someone how to use a bow and arrow, start with their grandfather. You want to teach someone how to use a crossbow, give them a crossbow and teach them how to point and shoot.
at the very least, he seems to have picked up the bow quite quickly, and I believe Anton is canonically an elf as well.
Pyre eats his own words and looks very bitter about it.
Okay, but you can join if you have nothing better to do. You can join the whole militia training. I'm not sure if you guys had discussed it yet.
We have not. I am a backseat driver DM.
Okay.
That was just one point I wanted to point out that I was
Okay.
completely wrong about anyways.
Okay. I believe those were the broad strokes of the session, cutting out most of the humor and fluff. If anyone else has anything else to add, if I missed something important, then feel free to mention it.
I do not have anything to add to that. That seemed pretty solid.
Okay. Alright. We are going to move the camera back to Zorg, as he's going to have one thing that will finish his scene up before we move the camera over to other party members. Likely Stefan next, because Secret's not here. But, alright. So Zorg. Training is going well. You've put a lot of the participants through several exercises. And it's currently, let's say you guys woke up at something like 6 or 7 in the morning. It's currently around noon now. Around the time when Secret's going to actually have his big meeting. And you still have some time. You still have a few exercises to go through, and it's currently break time right now. You're distributing some of the food. You're getting other people to start distributing some of the food to all the participants. And you notice a pair of mercenaries begin walking up. When they get close, you notice that they have a raiment belonging to the House of Steel. The thugs that were protecting the food, they have raiments belonging to the House of Crown. And the two mercenary thugs, they walk over and they yell out, "All right, so who's in charge around here?"
Zorg will look around.
Technically, you're the
See if
one in
any-
charge.
Pyre puffs up his chest, points at Zorg, and says, "He is the leader."
Zorg's still looking around like,
All right, Orky boy. Can you explain exactly what it is you guys are doing here?
we're training mercenaries.
Excuse me? Did you get the proper approval from any of the noble houses or anything? Let me see the permit, or whatever document you've got.
Does Zorg have any documents?
Zorg was not handed any documents from Darren Stormright, but one of the House of Crown thugs, they walk up and they show a little document and says, No. He's a middle-aged dwarf, and he says, All right, now. We're here legally. The House of Crown has given his support for this little community event and has provided funding. The guy takes the paper and he looks at it. And he says, so is that right, Orky? Are you here trying to train a militia?
Like I said, mercenaries.
Gentlemen, perhaps an issue here is language. In Veer, what is the common understanding of what mercenaries or militia mean? We wouldn't want some foreign misunderstandings to rub the wrong shoulders now, would we?
Roll persuasion.
Unless you're not literate.
Is Orcs rolling persuasion?
No, Pyre's gonna roll persuasion. We'll see exactly
Yes.
which way I'll take this.
So we'll see. Let me know how it goes. I would love to show how it doesn't work out. Give me a moment. These are tiny little letters. Persuasion. There we go. That's a 12.
That was a 12. Well, it doesn't work out. Welcome, Secret.
It's great. I almost have them, and then I ask them, or I at least imply, well, like, here's all the logical reasoning, but none of that matters if you don't know how to read, does it? Just, like, assumes they can't read.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I can read right here. Militia. Militia and mercenaries have two different distinctions. I'm gonna have to ask you guys to leave the premises right now.
Zorg, how high can you count?
I can count at least to 100 bodies.
Yeah, but here, them. How many do you count?
Only
And-
2.
and
I
Pyre
can eat 'em
nods.
for breakfast.
I wouldn't recommend that because I don't see 2. I see 1. You only need 1 to spread the word, right?
Ooh,
Spread the word that the house of... What house are they?
House of
House
Steel.
of Crown?
Crown.
Oh, House of
the,
Steel.
The thugs that are currently butting heads with you, they're the House of Steel.
Okay.
Pyre speaks up and says, I think it's from the House of Crown, unless you are from the House of Crown, aren't you? Official
Well, these
Crown
guys-
business, yes?
These guys clearly have the House of Steel, and the guys who were supporting you, who brought out the document for you guys, are from the House of Crown. So it's two rival noble houses.
I've just implied the House of Steel is the House of Crown and they're impersonating someone
Okay.
else's house.
Zorg, what did you say to add to this? I forget what you said. It'll just help me determine.
Zorg would say that he does not believe them. And that they are trying to start a fight between us. Between the two houses.
Uncooperative. Okay. So Pyre is...
You can read. Good. So where are your papers? You have sigils, but where's your documents for your station, your authority to be acting in this manner? I assure you I am quite versed in legislation.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Are you now? Let's see. Well versed in legislation. The guy, he holds the paper up to the sun. You guys can see a watermark on the piece of paper. He twirls around with his back towards you. He starts eyeing the paper a little bit more closely. He looks at the other guy. He looks at the other mercenary guy. And he says, well... Okay. He looks at the other mercenary guy and he says, well, unfortunately for you guys, this paper doesn't seem very valid. He holds it
I
up to the
didn't
sun
ask
again.
if this paper was valid. I asked you to provide your evidence of authority. You do
My evidence.
have evidence, yes?
It's a
You
symbol on
didn't
my
come here
back,
without
buddy.
your own
This is property of the House of Steel, and just because they allow commoners to come in and train at this public field, this is still all property of the House of Steel. If they want you gone, they can have you gone, regardless. And he crumples the document, he tosses behind him, and his accomplice behind him shoots a firebolt at the document. And it bursts into flames.
Zorg, you want to be the leader. Give your orders.
Hmm. Zorg will look at them both and say that we have proper documentation.
Really? Because I don't see it anymore. I think you're mistaken. That wasn't any sort of document. Any sort of
Zorg,
valid
they're on a
document.
training shield. They're on a training field. I'm not asking for you to read a document. Zorg, give the order.
Zorg will show them his military rank badge, and then we'll try to intimidate them. If they do not bow to
How-
Zorg's will, Zorg will crush them.
Okay, you show them the badge, what do you say?
I've been a soldier in many wars. You dare threaten me?
I would
Dare
love
threaten
to
me.
assist
Okay.
Zorg by just rattling off the locations, the battles, the time periods, the casualty counts, the methodology, all of those things, DM,
Okay.
that I had learned this morning from what's his face, Zorg and Secret Drain.
Okay.
I will assist Zorg on this intimidation roll.
Alright. Roll intimidation with advantage, Zorg.
I'm just, I'm silently just shaking my head over in the corner right now.
Who's in this scene? I guess I should clarify now that I'm here. Where is this?
This is out in the training field by the Coliseum of Steel. You're not here, Stefan is not here, but I believe everyone else is here.
Okay, just making sure. Didn't want to butt into a scene I wasn't part of.
Okay.
Though the 17, he's decent roll.
It is a decent roll. Let's see. He says... He says... I'll let you go. I'll let you guys stick around here for maybe another 20 minutes or so, but I want this field to be clear by the time I get back. Capiche?
Zorg will just stare him down.
Pyre opens and then closes his mouth as the silence stretches on.
Stepping into this tense scene, stepping into this tense scene is a female hobgoblin. I just realized I should probably remake her image. This is the hobgoblin that you had seen in your very first session, actually. This is Rain. And she asks, pardon me, but is there a problem here? She looks
These
at
men
you guys first.
These men are harassing us from the House of Steel. They say we do not have the correct paperwork.
And they don't. They handed me a piece of scrap paper, and we just disposed of that scrap paper.
Out of curiosity, I believe you are the captain of the guard here, and you have understood the disposal of improper materials. When something is not truly authentic, is it custom in Zir to remove it completely? An eradication?
No, instances of fraud are typically taken in as evidence. Though private security is a different matter. She looks at both of you two. And she's actually, one of you two make a persuasion roll.
I'll do it.
She looks over the scene for a moment. She notices the charred paper on the ground. And she walks over to pick it up. And the one thing that happened to survive from that document is a sigil, is pretty much the illusion magic sigil of the House of Crown.
I hate to be blunt, but my question was not towards the document they had destroyed. It was for another source of inconvenience. When there are people who are not on official business, who do not present themselves officially in any manner, what happens to them? What happens to people who impersonate in the name of another house?
Yeah, she looks over the House of Crown sigil, and she looks over at the two mercenary thugs that you see, and she says, "Well, they tend to take, well, most noble houses tend to take fraud and impersonation quite seriously. For some people, it might even warrant the death penalty. Or perhaps even worse. But heavens forbid, these noble houses have a lot more power over the law than you can imagine. They might even be communicated for a specific sentence within that noble house. Forced labor for the rest of their lives. But, you know, I'm pretty sure they can be much, much more creative than I can be."
But in the moment, the arresting, he looks at the two men, acquiring of evidence. Zorg, would you say breaking their legs would be the appropriate response?
I think it'd be a good first punishment.
I agree. Give the order.
They back up.
You know, I might as well just take matters into my own hands. I wouldn't want anybody else's hands to get dirty.
Oh, of course, we wouldn't want an unfair fight. Unless there is a coward present, I think 2 versus 1 is more than fair. Unless you folks came here to exchange words and not blades. By all means, here's our leader. Prove that you're right. A divine duel. A challenge before the gods.
Zord will start to grin and show his teeth.
Unless you wish to seek to throw shade on those you represent. Unless you never had authority to begin with. Unless you never, ever show your face again in Zir.
Veer.
Prove that you can fight. It's the same place, Zorg.
Zorg?
Secret.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was James that said
That was
My bad.
me correcting you.
Sorry, cat. Sorry, cat. All right. So, anyways, unless you never show your faces in Veer again, I think this is more than a fair proposition. You came prepared. You're obviously armored. He barely has a shirt to his name. Here, I'll even take a few steps back. A fair fight. Not even fair, in your favor. You couldn't ask for more. Prove your justice, gentlemen.
Okay. Calling their bluff, huh?
This is
Okay.
no bluff. Zorg,
Is it-
the custom is to strike them with a gauntlet. You may use mine. I will begin unlatching a gauntlet and begin handing it over to Zorg to strike them with.
They like they both start backing up. They also notice that the rest of the militia that you're training, like they're currently being eyed by everyone, including the actual House of Crown mercenaries behind you guys as well. With all the eyes on them, they start backing up.
Zord will
And-
tell.
So,
Zord
of
will tell
course,
his
if
men
you
to
were-
surround them.
Of course, if you refuse, you are thieves and imposters to begin with. That would be worse than losing the fight. You'd be forfeiting it. The shame.
Absolutely
Surely you can fight one green skin. No real armor to speak of. Here, Zorg, my gauntlet.
What
Zorg
did
will
you say?
reach to-
What did you say you wanted to do, Zorg? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Zorg would like to tell his men to surround these two men.
Okay,
Scenes you wish you were in but can't be in. That's for sure.
They do try, like, they both try to turn and run, but both Anton and Frankie cut them off. And the guy who butted heads with you earlier, he looks down at Frankie and goes, "A kid? Really? You're trying to train a kid? Look, you don't want to mess with the House of Steel, my friend.
I will throw a fireball at their feet, missing them.
So-
but uncomfortably
Fireball? I
close.
think you mean firebolt because
Firebolt,
you're just about to
firebolt.
destroy the whole fucking
Cannot
arena.
cast that spell. It is a firebolt. Thank you. Throw a firebolt at their feet as I say, unless you would prefer facing everyone on this field, I suggest you accept the challenge.
Bones literally said, "Hey, let me just fucking roast myself really quick here, if you don't
Dude,
mind."
Myself, Frankie. There's a difference. Frankie is expendable.
What is a fireball? A level 4 spell?
Level 3, but
Oh,
it's probably one of the best offensive spells in D&D for its level. I would even argue it could be a level 4 spell, but Wizards likes fun sometimes.
I can cast a maximum of level 1 spells, so yeah, I'm casting the cantrip version.
no, he's casting. He attempts to cast fireball.
Hey man, sounds like I was the wrong cleric. I should have gone light so I can get fireball access. That would have been something. Hey, you want to see the future?
Fireball.
Hey, you want to see the future? Boom!
The future's fire.
The future. Your future is fire.
I apologize out of character for interrupting you. What was their reaction, Jorah?
The entire they look around. The entire crowd is pretty much like yelling at them and saying, "Yeah, come on! If you think you guys are tough, why don't you fight our leader? Our leader can take any one of you. Go on." And Rain just kind of shrugs and says, "Hey, I heard that part of militia training was to help with the local enforcement, so as far as I'm concerned, everyone who's legally here and part of the militia training is an extension of the town guard. And let's just say that it's not my fault if you resist arrest. So how about it? It's just a friendly little duel. Right? And she looks over to you, Zorg.
Zorg will smile and nod his head.
Everyone from the crowd is cheering. And you can see both of the mercenaries, like, they seem to notice that they are in pretty deep shit right now. One of them attempts to push through the crowd, and Boris just kind of pushes them back with a wooden hammer. Come on. He's an orc, so he needs to do things the way they do it in Drensis. You know, trial by combat. Might is right after all. Fine, if it'll shut all of you up and get us out of here. You.
Only a few orcs have died from trial by combat.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Assuming you know how to commit to a blade. Come!
Fine.
You've been challenged? What is your weapon of choice?
It's the weapon of choice.
Tiddlywinks at 5 paces.
He grabs like a bouncy ball and those jacks, and like he's like, it's jacks, and then he just like tries to catch the one he bounces up.
I can just see Zorg killing someone with jacks.
I would like to see Zorg kill somebody over losing a game of marbles. That would be interesting.
You lose your marbles. Huh?
Just a little bit, huh?
What will be your weapon of choice? And he says, I'll take you on in anything. I'm not familiar with whatever your orcish duel customs are, but I can meet them. And you can declare whatever duel custom you want. There's many tribes, and they likely all have their own different duel customs, so you can do anything.
All right, declare to the death, Zorg. It's the only way.
Yeah. To the hand-by-hand combat to the death is my tribe's go-to.
I hope you're a monk
Naked,
now.
barehanded combat.
Naked barehanded combat. Now we're talking.
Naked, barehanded combat to the death.
PG-13, everybody.
Of course, when we say naked, we mean with the loincloth. For the children.
Yeah. What? No. What? No.
Like 2 orphan kids on the fence nearby, like fight.
Orcish kids love bloodshed.
Tasty treat.
I assume by naked you just mean without armor.
Yeah.
And he
Clearly.
No, declothed.
Clearly.
Declothed. Yeah.
and he begins taking off his suit of armor. He plumps the armor to the ground. Fine. You can bring it on, orky boy.
Are they fighting me at the same time?
Nope. Just the one guy. They seem to think that it's a one-on-one duel.
Zorg will shout out, both of you at the same time.
Okay.
Pyre nods. You don't want to interfere with his honor, would you?
It'll be unfair without 2.
Fine, buddy.
1 is a
It's your
mistake.
funeral.
2 proves that's God's will. The deities themselves declare our right to be here.
Zorg will start raising his fist.
Both of them or just one?
Both.
Okay.
Zorg will start out with a rage.
Bring it on, buddy. It's your funeral. And they
Zorg
both...
is going to be raging.
Okay. Roll initiative for me, please.
Initiative. How do I do that there?
Okay. And I'll just don't forget to roll initiative. I forget if I implement the new one. No, I haven't implemented the new one for you guys yet. Hold on. I'll just add you. 10. Change that to a 17. There. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay, so I kind of want them to act at the same time. I'll take the median of their two results, the 3 and 5. 1 divided by 2 is 10.5. So let's take 10. So Zorg, you act first.
Alright. Zorg is going to savage attack. Or reckless attack. The closest one that is to him.
Okay. All right. For for the sake of this fight, just to make it go a little bit faster, feel free to just make your battle axe attack. We'll do a full 1d6. Just pretend
Okay.
that you are attacking them with a weapon, even though it's barehanded. All right. That is a 9. So both of them without their armor, they're not nearly as fast as you. The first guy right next to you goes for an uppercut, and you dodge to the side, and you just slam his head. You punch him in the head and slam him to the ground. Okay.
Zorg will yell out a battle cry. 1 down! 1 more to go!
He's still alive and kicking, since he said it's to the death.
Did you actually say it was to death? I thought we were kidding.
Bloodshed. Blood for the blood gods.
Zorg
God.
said it. That doesn't mean it's true. But they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
We're not
Yep.
stopping Zorg.
It's up to you, Zorg, whether or not you actually kill them or you just knock them out.
Please don't kill them. I don't need to explain it to the House of Steel in case they're legit.
Murder.
Oh, God. Are you gonna feed them the ash right there too afterwards? Just really make it special.
After I kill them, I'll cut off their fingers for Ash.
Yeah,
Wow,
we
really?
just need to get rid of the evidence. If what
know-
they don't know won't hurt them.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not like there's a guard captain that's watching this fight or anything.
Guard captain.
I mean, everybody heard it was to the death, so I mean...
All we
Only
have
the-
to do is give her 50 gold and we're peachy.
Guard Captain did explicitly state, did say, well, I think they're here legitimately, and they're being trained as militia, so they're an extension of the town guard. So you can't blame me if you resist arrest. So she's probably going to spin this into a different story.
It was self-defense.
Yep.
I mean, they attacked first. You saw
Yeah.
the fire.
Yeah, we seen the first attack.
Yeah, they threatened you with a firebolt.
Yeah.
Casting magic in a training field? So barbaric.
All right.
Ugh.
The guy you punched to the ground, he's kind of dazed. He's kind of dazed this turn as the other guy charges you and tries to punch at you. Since you did reckless attack, he rolls with advantage. I'm just trying to find where I put his sheet. This isn't one of the new ones. Thing I've discovered recently is that I don't know if it works all the time.
Shield bash only works with a shield, right?
Technically, but we're reskinning this combat, so you can just use your normal shield. Does a 15 hit you?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I
Okay,
have a 20 AC right now.
20 AC.
Yeah, they're not gonna hit me.
pretend. Yeah, we'll pretend that you have your shield up right now. Yeah. Okay, so this guy. So this guy tries to go for a haymaker, try to punch you right in the chest, and you just after you punch this guy to the ground, this guy goes for the haymaker, and you just spin around behind him. Now it's your turn.
Zorg is going to throw a punch at the guy he is now behind. He's going to try to hit him in the back of the temple. Or the back of the head.
No, kidney's the
Okay.
best place to hit him from behind. It really hurts.
It's an orc.
Zorg's planning on crushing his skull, you know.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to anatomy. It's a head crushing. Or you just pick him up and beat the other guy with him.
Can Zorg attempt that? Can
You wanna
Zorg
pick-
attempt picking? Can Zorg pick up the other guy and throw him at the other dude?
Okay, you can either pick up the guy who's currently standing up and throw him at the guy on the ground, or try to pick up the guy who's on the ground and throw him at the guy who's standing up.
Zorg's gonna pick up the guy on the ground.
Okay.
Use him as a weapon.
He's still a little bit dazed. Okay. Make an athletics roll with advantage.
You made a mistake. That's Zorg's specialty.
He's busy clutching his head. It's like, oh, you got a lucky shot in, but you're dead when I. And before he finishes that sentence, how do you pick him up?
Zorg will
the
pick him up by the ankles.
And you seem like a wood.
Zorg will swing him around. He'll do like a whirlwind motion, swing him all the way around, and then fling him.
Okay, make you know what? For this one, we'll just say two-handed battle axe attack.
Stuck.
While this is going on, Pyre will begin a chant, fair fight, fair fight.
I have to reload my Season of War. There we go.
Still having issues?
No, I just did it.
There we go. All right. Ooh. Okay. Are you trying to kill any of them?
Murder. Yep. We're just gonna go ahead and kill some people.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Hold up. How many magic missiles can I unload into Zorg's chest?
Not enough to stop him.
Seriously, I gotta put an end to this. No, I know that. I'm saying, like, do I get that he's not necessarily taking this as lightly as I expect?
You can definitely tell that he's raging. He's definitely behaving very savagely and ferociously.
Alright. Actually, he's already... Is the guy on the ground right now?
He's not on the ground anymore. He's just about to be thrown.
Oh.
About to be used as a weapon.
I'll let him go ahead, because right now what I'm thinking won't work. We'll have to see.
Okay. You killed the guy you just threw.
What?
So the guy you just threw is dies from the impact, since you said you were intentionally trying to murder him. So how do you actually kill this guy?
Is he hitting the other dude or is he just flying?
Yes. Both of them are taking
Uh,
11 damage.
Oh God. Are they both all right, or just the one died?
One died.
Okay. I would like for him to get thrown at the other dude, hit him right in the chest, and all we hear is a splat, like the cracking of an egg.
As his brains leak out.
Stefan knew
he-
what I was leading to.
I guess he had a soft spot.
Sorg would say,
Also,
I didn't think I
Felix-
threw him that hard.
I know you are insectoid and all that, and this is out of character. But in character, what is your expression? If you had to describe Queelix's
I'm wearing a
expression
mask
right now,
but are they the only two that are in combat? Are the two that were fighting already dead?
No, there's one guy who's still alive who's got brain matter all over his chest right now.
I'm gonna start walking forward, and I'm gonna cast fog cloud on around Zorg.
Can Sorg redirect that?
Can you remind me what redirect?
You
That's
can
mundane
redirect
projectiles
mundane
and
cantrip.
cantrips. So no,
Yeah.
you don't have
Okay.
the advanced redirect projectiles. You just have a
Dang
simple one.
Only if he shot magic missiles at me. All right.
Magic missile isn't a cantrip either.
Yeah, it's
It's a
not a cantrip
projectile,
either.
ain't it?
Yeah, but it's not a mundane projectile. Mundane basically means non-magical as well. Like if
Oh,
someone
so I can't
firing an arrow or
intercept
crossbow.
any.
I
Can you
mean,
imagine?
to be fair, neither can a monk, which is the class that is famous for being able to do that. Monk
Can I-
can't catch a firebolt.
There's no way I can manipulate the wind, like use my question mark charges to redirect this at all?
I would say. I would say
simplicity's sake,
no.
how about you?
Because he said he was using a fog, right?
Oh shoot. Oh, fogs
Because I
can
can
get
manipulate the
dissipated.
wind. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Oh.
reaction. Wait, but can he do that as a reaction? Because
I'll say you have to
Yeah,
do
it's
that as an
reaction.
action. Well,
Okay.
manipulate the wind. That one's variable, but I'll say this one's an action on your turn to
All
dispel
right.
it.
All right. All right. I guess I'll let them live. Damn it. I just wanted to murder some people.
As soon as so basically what happens is that as you kind of watch as like a few what look like very small like sparks appear in midair. They don't really cause too much light, but from them they seem to emanate a similar smoke cloud to that of like a forest fire, and it begins to fill up the 20-foot space around Zorg. I'm going to move across the field fairly quickly for being in a robed outfit right now, and I will use if the person who is currently still alive is inside the fog cloud, I'm going to use blind sight to find them and get them out.
All right. Let's see. You were at the very edges of the fight. I'd say that would with the crowd gathered around them, that would definitely be greater than 30 feet on your movement. You can certainly dash to try to get to them, but yeah. You can dash to get. I'll let you dash to try to get right up to them.
I'll do that at that point. This is a
Okay.
training facility, not this. Do it elsewhere.
Alright, so you acted right after Zorg had acted, so it's the mercenary's turn. You get right next to the guy. And the guy. He begins to cast something.
Quiet yourself. You have already lost 2. How many was it? Was it only one that got killed? Or was
Yeah,
it 2?
one died.
Just
One died.
one.
One died? Oh, okay. You have already lost 1. loss and leave. I have not done this just to see you waste it. This is a
And
place of training, not of death.
he hesitates for a second, and then he continues casting the spell, and then he poofs in a puff of smoke, and he's just gone.
All right. Well, that works for me.
Fair fight, fair fight.
You're just gonna see Quelkek look over at you. You'll just see a mask with this like cloth and a helmet just look at you for like a solid minute.
To be fair with the looking, did he cast Fog Cloud and Dash? Because we're doing a little bit Seat of the Pants, or was it just the Dash action?
Oh wait, that's right. He actually wouldn't have gotten his way to him on that one turn. So
Like, I'm
yeah.
fine with bending action economy because it's
I
cinematic.
did bend it a little bit, so I think what happened happened. So he dashed and casted Fog Cloud, and Zorg grappled someone and then also attacked with him. So yeah,
You
well,
may know where to look, Queelik. Pyre does not. You are in a fog cloud. He cannot see through it. You are in total cover. Or
All right.
total concealment.
Alright, Zorg. To generate enough wind to completely dissipate this 20 by 20 fog cloud, I'll say this would cost you 2 charges.
2 charges?
Yeah.
That's not that bad. Yeah, I'll do it.
Alright. Don't forget to mark down how many charges you've got on your other resource. Basically,
I
you've
need
got
to, yeah,
4
I need to add it.
total.
4 wind magics.
Put the title underneath that 4. That the other resource thing, that's where you put
Oh.
the name. And the total is basically the maximum. So you can just put the 4 up on top, just to remember if you need to refill it later. That's the maximum.
I'm gonna
Okay.
have so many different resources.
And Zorg, you channel the wind, and a small tornado begins gathering up the fog cloud, and you basically just throw it up into the air. But after you throw it up into the air, you now see Quelkek standing very close to where the other guy was, and the guy you just threw, he's dead on the ground. Brain matter still oozing everywhere, but your other target is just gone.
Zorg will laugh for a few seconds when he sees the brain matter, but then he'll scowl because he doesn't see his other target.
It's
I
like,
will ignore. I will cast a look at him before going down to the corpse, and I will take some. I believe I have some fabric in my inventory right now, and I will use it to basically cover the wound and to try to put into place so it's not so ghastly.
there is a mixed reaction from the militia. Some people are horrified at just seeing a guy's brain matter get splattered everywhere, but some people are just cheering for the bloodshed. Frankie, after having his taste of first blood, he does seem slightly shaken, but since he's been put on the mercenary path, he is not trying to look away. He's actively trying to force himself to look at this.
I will. Does Zenova have any rights, last rights that would
Last
be
rights?
placed?
Last rights. Oh my. So you are a cleric, so I would say it's very, very likely that you would have been taught. So, last rights. This would probably be treated like one of the battlefield last rights that they normally do. So what Quelkek would likely do is you'd likely you would likely put a candle out. You'd pull out a feather, and you'd light the candle, put the feather into the now burning candle, and you'd plant the feather at the base of the candle and basically just let it burn.
DM.
Yep.
What is the ground made out of in the training area?
It is dirt for the most part.
Pyre will try to keep an eye out. He doesn't say anything, but he does look around, looking for footprints that are unexplained in the dirt that are being actively created, either in the pit or moving away from the fight scene.
Okay, make a survival check for me, please.
I have blind sight, so if that's occurring.
Okay.
10 feet blind sight
Yeah,
or further? How close is that blind sight?
It's 10 feet.
10 feet? Okay.
My eyes are like that of 7 eagles, specifically 7 blind eagles.
Now, there's... You're trying to look around for new footprints, but it seems like the ground is just extremely soft. You see a lot of footprints made from all of these militia, in training, and it seems like people are still moving about. It's hard to make out in some of the chaos that's unfolding.
So if this guy... I'll mutter to myself. If he turned invisible, he's not running. That's my turn, DM.
Okay. And Rain walks up, and she says, she looks at you, Quelkek, and she says, Now I appreciate you performing the last rites, but I really do need to take the body in to have it put in the morgue and give formal rites to to any next of kin he might have in this city. Though it's very likely he's just going to be tossed into an unmarked grave.
Many of us have that ending, yes. You may take him. I have completed what I need to. Yet I have more to do, it seems, with those present here.
And she whips out a big corpse bag basically, and starts putting it over the body.
I will step away and allow her to finish her stuff, and I will directly look at Zorg and Pyre with contempt and in an unimaginable amount of disappointment.
Bag of holding corpses. That's a good idea.
Zorg, the fight hasn't been declared yet.
For someone of your stature, and what I feel as though your lineage, this feels like an unwise choice.
Zorg will look at him. Say, why do you keep whispering towards me? You're gonna need to speak up louder.
I am not speaking to you, but the one beside, the one that has more wisdom, that should have understood this. Instead played his game. And now there is blood upon this field, where there should none be.
If you are unfamiliar with blood, come speak with me, not our leader. Zorg, the fight's not over. There was a mist, yes, but no one was in it when it cleared, and no one saw him leave. Teleportation requires sight, and he had none. He's invisible. He may stab you in the back. The gods haven't passed judgment yet.
there is something I do need to
Come,
double check.
Thry.
Can Zorg try to attempt to feel the wind and see if there's any like directional changes in the wind, like as somebody would be visible around him?
Doesn't seem like someone is invisible. Hold on.
Come,
Just need-
Thry. If you wish to discuss theology, I will bear that burden. But if your words result in my co-worker's death, then I will hold your head accountable. Mercy has no place when a battle is still being fought.
Question the wisdom of the one. Perhaps maybe there was mistakes that were made in the choices. And then with that, he'll just walk away.
Zorg will mutter to himself, "Did he just say something about some steaks?"
I had to think. Honestly, Blindside might require some interpretation from me. It works like echolocation, but
It
question
depends on
is,
like the source.
yeah.
I'm going
Because-
by Pyre's knowledge, not by the DM's knowledge. I don't need you to change what happened, Jorah. Yeah, invisibility is just for sight. It's not for vision. Blind sight is not vision. It's other senses, whether it's pheromones, vibrations, whether it's like essentially if you had your eyes plucked out and you could still see someone, that's blind sight.
Typically,
need to be
blind
facing
sight from most sources is kind of not necessarily stated, but kind of implied to be mystical. But that's not always true. The first thing that pops into my mind is one of the Tasha's. I believe there's the fighter. One of the Tasha fighter things is blind fighting, for example. But that's not necessarily stated to be mystical.
Yeah. I've always just taken it as it doesn't require eyes to have blind sight.
No, usually it doesn't. Usually, a lot of creatures and things that have blind sight usually are just straight up normal blind, like with no regular vision. Not always, obviously, but it's a common theme.
On page 332, it says, yes, I did just pull page number out of nowhere. No, it doesn't have anything
Sure.
to do with the argument. So, John, is Stefan at the training or is he somewhere else
No.
at the moment?
He's elsewhere.
Yeah, he's
Alright.
about to be a pain in my ass, is what he's doing.
And Secret, where was your character at this point?
I guess Secret's probably heading towards the meeting, right, Jorah?
Yes, you are.
All right, neato.
You're headed towards the meeting. You do arrive. If you headed directly towards the meeting right after speaking with everyone, you definitely would have arrived an hour or two early.
Is Nathan there?
Yes. You enter in through the first floor. You don't quite know your way around, so presumably you just ask one of the help desks, and they tell you that Nathan's office, or at least the House of Veer's office, is all the way up on the third floor.
Thank you. He is expecting me. I've seen myself up.
All right. all right. It's not the big meeting yet, but if there's anything you want to discuss with him, you can feel free to do so now.
Looking at what we discussed before, it sounds like what we wrote down is probably the stuff he would talk about. You know,
Okay.
the stuff we wrote down a couple weeks
Yep.
ago.
Okay. All right. So, all right. And I'm going to move the camera over to Stefan. Because you aren't just standing around waiting, because there can be things that happen to you as well. All right. So, Stefan, let's see. When you arrived, from the information you were given, there should have been around 7 people, I believe. Yeah, 7
Mhm.
people. When you arrived, 6 people were present, but the 7th person seems to be missing, and you haven't seen the 7th person up until now. Like, you still haven't seen him or her. They could show up. But one of the guards walks up to you. One of the private security guards walks up to you. And he says, "Alright, sorry, you're gonna have to run your name by me again, I keep forgetting."
Uh, yeah, I'm Charlie. I'm subbing in.
Charlie, right. You're...
Somebody couldn't make it, or they're going to be late, so they said that they called me and asked me to come.
Right. So... Oh, so you're not the new guy? You're not with our group?
I'm with your group. One of your people called me and said they couldn't make it, and I made it instead.
Oh,
They called me
okay.
and said they were either not going to make it or come late. I don't know which. So
I see.
they said they needed people here to check out, passages and make sure there's nothing in the secret passages and all that shit.
I see.
The usual
Yeah.
stuff, Make
Good,
sure
good.
these nobles don't get their ire up because somebody left a thumbtack out where they might step on it.
Yeah, these nobles.
Yeah,
Fickle, chaotic, and disastrous sons of bitches. Alright.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you for your status report, but you've already answered most of it.
Yeah, I'm just starting to look around, and I got a list of some of the secret doors to check out and make sure nobody's left shit in there.
Alright.
I guess you're the charge on this, right?
Oh,
You
me?
must be what's your name, Jared?
Let's see. Yes, Jared.
I think it was.
I need to copy and paste that list, because I definitely wrote it
Yeah,
down.
I got Jared was the leader, and you've got Harold, Bobby,
Yep.
Finley,
Harold,
Jessica.
Cameron, and Joe.
Yeah,
Just so that you can immediately figure out who all of them are, I did not put their names up. They're still
That's
just listed as
okay.
private.
yeah,
But yeah, he says, "Yep, I'm Jared. And since
yeah.
you're new..."
He said you were the charge on this, and if you had anything special you want me to do, I'm supposed to do it. But he had a few things he was supposed to be doing, so unless you got something special you want me to do, I'll check out these places.
Well, you see, since you're with us and you're new guy, like you, You're a pretty smart guy, right? Know your way around?
Know how to get around. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see.
This isn't my first rodeo. I may not have worked with you, but I worked with private security before.
And he pulls out a little scroll and he says, you remember to get your protection up, right?
My what up?
Oh, you're with since you're with us and you're the new guy, and it's probably your very first mission with us. I was just
Yeah,
thinking,
I don't know you personally, but I've heard that you're a good man.
but yeah, you remember getting the scroll, right?
Uh, I don't think Charlie gave that, or not Charlie. I'm Charlie. I don't think he gave it to that me. He just got in touch with me. What scroll am I supposed to be doing? Gee,
Oh, well. It's just you might be sent around, you don't know what these people are gonna do or what they're gonna be up to. So here, if they forgot to give it to you, this is for you. It's your little contingency.
okay.
You open up the scroll, and I'm gonna DM you. Uh, and I want you, when you look at this, I want you to actually make me an Arcana check with advantage. Yeah, make an Arcana check. You'll likely need to click on. Oh shoot, that's probably not linked to your actual token, is it? I might just turn that off for now, just to ease. But you might need to click on a player token.
Well, I got a token. I'm clicked on the Stefan token on the board.
Might need to. I'm not sure if that's properly linked to your Stefan character sheet. Can you try doing it to your actual Stefan token? If not, then you might need to look at the top center of the screen. If there's a big box that says select target, just click on the red X to cancel out of it. And I've disabled the attack roll and damage modifier, so you should be able to get a new roll up now.
Don't see anything unless you got it
Okay. Can you try to make a new Arcana check? If not, maybe you need to reload.
Oh, I'd
real
make
quick.
one if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything though, but I made it without advantage. Yeah, 10, 20, it's pretty good.
So the scroll he
Considering
hands
I
you,
got a 1.
so yeah, this is what's on the spell. I've given you to it in your DMs.
Oops. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And he tells you, don't forget to cast that spell on yourself. With, with the All-Knowing's power, you're all fine. You don't need to worry about magical aptitude or anything. He'll do all the heavy lifting for you. Got it? Don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna need your help. We're gonna need your help much later on. But for right now, just do your rounds, inspect the passages. I'll be back later.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. And the guy leaves. He's gonna leave all the way back down there. Okay. Alright. As we are nearing the meeting time, let's see.
I would like to maybe talk to him about something about half hour. Maybe throw a bombshell at him that I kind of
Yeah.
forgot to do the first time you asked me if there's something I want to discuss.
Okay.
Because I realized I haven't talked to him since you sent me that message.
Hold on.
If you don't mind.
I need to get my timeline straight. Just so I know what's happening. But yes, go on.
There is one thing I probably should have mentioned earlier. I had a vision the other night about this meeting.
Vision. What about? Good or bad?
Bad. One of the people we're supposed to be meeting. I gotta find your fucking notes. Sorry, give me a second. Because I lost your. There they are. Winston. You
Winston
familiar
who?
with him? Berg.
The Berg boy.
Shit.
What about Mr. Berg?
Berg and Steele are going to be at this meeting, yes?
Yes, Berg, Steele, Cinders, and myself.
Two. If my vision is correct, which you know me, they usually are when I'm not trying to seek them out and they just come to me. 2 House of Steel guards, as well as, I think Brandon stabbed Berg.
What? You mean like
At the very least,
in private or out in public?
I'm not sure. I only saw flashes, but it took place in this building. It was 2 House of Steel guards. The other thing that I distinctly had a vision of was there was a glint of red in the distance. When the other guards came in with their weapons, there was a guard running in the opposite direction. And when my vision zoomed in, he had the lightning shard running away.
So we're being targeted.
The gem is. I'm not sure why Berg was the one they stabbed. It's the house. He's not part of the House of Steel, is he?
No.
Not directly.
He's the scion of the house. He's the scion of the other house. And I need to actually check the relationship chart. I have this somewhere.
Both sons of their houses.
Yeah, they're the heir of the opposing house.
Now,
No.
I can easily, I'm sure, heal him if it happens in front of us. That's not what I'm worried about. Especially if you are still at any mild combat performance. I assume you still train, yes? You were a champion
I do.
after all.
I do. I need to keep my fitness up, even if I'm not as good as I was in my heyday.
Now, I don't know Berg personally, and like I said many times, I don't really care about the politics of this city, but I do care about somebody interrupting our meeting and stealing our lightning shard before I can even negotiate it properly. We know that it is currently in the possession of the House of Steel. I don't believe the House of Steel would. Maybe they would collude to have Berg assassinated, but why would they need to steal their own lightning shard?
Indeed. It's likely due to other elements. Do you think it's the
Somebody
rebellion?
pretending to be a guard? Do I what?
Do you think it's the rebellion?
I think there's a very good chance it might. The glint of red could signify one of two things to me. At least of things I know, mind you. I could be completely wrong. One of my points of interest lately that I've been working with is a red hobgoblin, but he has no business being here in this moment. The other thing, potentially, is it could be a symbolic flash of red, not actually a literal flash of red, a glint, if you will. It could be the rebellion, it could be solemn, it could be anything.
If it was a small glint of red, every single one of Niall's mind control. Niall is the god of hobgoblins and the god of domination. If it's a mind control spell, then it would typically make the caster's eyes glow red.
Well, my point of interest has not shown to be magic capable, and I don't know how religious he actually is. As far as I know, he's definitely not a demigod.
The tricky thing is that most hobgoblins are very different from a lot of the other races. A lot of hobgoblins, especially ones that originate from Rivenera, are typically born or given the Mark of Niall.
Do I remember seeing the mark on him? Jim?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll say I don't remember seeing a mark on him. He did say he left for a reason. He wanted more control over his life.
Chances are, if you wanted me to give a statistic to the likelihood that the hobgoblin you met had the Mark of Niall, if he comes from Rivenera or Rodinia, there's around a 90% chance he has the Mark of Niall.
But even if that's the case, I think it's a 90% chance that it's not him. I believe he is currently busy practicing for the war games, is my guess.
I see.
I have a question for you, Jorah. Did I see the faces of the guards? The two guards who would stab Berg?
You got a back shot, but they seem to be in close proximity to Brandon Steele. It might be like guards personally assigned to him, but
Okay.
no.
So they basically jumped up in front of Brandon, then stabbed Berg. Is that what I'm understanding from the vision?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't get a look at their faces, but proximity-wise, it was the two guards that were the closest to Brandon. Like, flanking him on either side, close.
I see.
And it was
But-
definitely both of them at the same time. It was a coordinated attack. Planned. Now, I could warn Berg, but Berg, I could even hold it over his head that I'm warning him to try to get the gem. That's the important part. But it might, as much as I loathe to say it, we need to save Berg, but it could also give us an opportunity. We save Berg. We catch down the thief who's running away with the lightning shard. And I tell them what I know about the rebellion from my visions.
I see.
If I were the House of Steel, how much faith could I save by not keeping things under wraps for that?
A thing that you should know is that due to a recent string of cryptic warnings and death threats, the House of Berg has hired a private security guard who's been sweeping areas before the heir of Berg arrives at that location. His private security
Yes, but-
is present at this building even now.
How would the private security be able to suspect 2 random guards with branded steel? Why would they suspect them?
Indeed. Question is, what are these people's objectives and what are they looking for?
That depends if they're actually with the House of Steel or impersonating the House of Steel to get to the gem. The shard.
True. But how should we approach this?
There's a couple ways. I want to approach this in a way where as many people live as possible, but in a way that is still to the church's benefit in this mission. But I'm not willing to just randomly condemn somebody to death if they're innocent. Now, granted, he is a noble of a house. He's not innocent, but you get what I mean. He's at least innocent in this regard. He's not even the head of his house yet. He's the heir. So the question
I see.
becomes, is this an attack that's specifically against Berg? A distraction to get the gem? Or is this someone who's actually trying to, say, mentally go after the actual heir of the Berg house? How?
Chances are it's likely a diversion if, from what I can tell, the House of Steel keeps their lightning gem under tight security. It's even arriving here in a lockbox. So
someone,
like-
but I saw them running away with the gem, not the box.
Indeed. Which is highly unusual. So it's likely that this is all a diversionary attack. They're trying to cause chaos, and then in the middle of the chaos, they're going to use a knock spell on the safe or break into the safe, take the gem, and then flee, while everyone's busy apprehending the steals. Either that or
Well-
this is a whole coup, but I don't think so.
Excuse me for sounding blatantly racist, but I am a tabaxi. I am much faster than you. Theoretically, if I were to catch the thief in the act, the person who would have the best chance of chasing them down is likely myself. Unless you know somebody faster than me.
No, I don't think I know any flying tabaxis who can shoot across the sky faster than a Pegasus Knight. I
That
don't believe so.
depends. I guess I didn't tell you. I met Father the other day. In person.
Ah,
And
Sarkava. I see.
yes, he shared with me a theory that I think we've all but confirmed. The gems, when they're alone, have no power. It's only their proximity to the other gems. Now, granted, I might be able to use the power while the thief is running away with his because of the proximity, but if we're too late, I can't fly that fast again.
I see. Is there anything we need to be concerned about? I've heard from Sarkava that apparently there's explosions that happen.
Depends. I mean, this one, he'll kind of pat his pocket. This one damn near killed me when I grabbed it.
What, from just being
I
near another
think-
gem?
I think so. We did have one on our person when it happened. From what I understand, when Ash grabbed his initially, he was zapped, but it wasn't as bad. And that was the first one our party actually got. Now, my thought is this. If that gem is in the same room as we are for the meeting, even if it's in its box, as long as it's there, unless this thief has prepared for that and knows about that, if he doesn't account for the fact that I have my shard with me, he might zap himself on accident, and that might give us a chance to strike.
I see, I see. Though there would be complications if it were to zap someone prematurely.
Yes, there would be, but this entire thing is wrought with complications at this point. I believe my vision. Maybe I don't know all the details, but I know Berg is going to get stabbed by Brandon Steele's 2 flanking guards. I don't know their faces. I only saw their backs in the vision, but I know there was one guard who ran away with the gem while everybody else was arriving. And I know, but I saw the glint of red. That glint of red literally could be anything, but combine that with what we know about the rebellion, what I know about the rebellion, the possible places it could come from, that's got to mean something. I'm not sure if it's the rebellion doing this, if only just because, as far as I know, the rebellion doesn't know about the shards. Unless the recent blasphemer incidents have reached the rebellion, which is a problem in itself if that's the case.
But they wouldn't know anything about... Well, technically, I think you actively... Didn't you actively hide the lightning shard, or did you let it slip earlier?
About what?
Well,
When,
to Nathaniel
with the
Veer.
guy?
Yeah, with Nathaniel Veer. Well, with Veer himself. I forget if you mentioned it
No,
to
I
him or
showed him
not.
the shard.
You did show him the shard, okay.
Because he saw,
So he-
he already saw me flying around with it. So at that point, yeah, I remember that very vividly. I told him the mission.
Okay, so he says...
Because
He says... I did receive a report from the House of Divine about an interrogation, though
Yes, I
from
was there for that.
from what he said on the streets, he never mentioned anything about a lightning shard.
No, but he was told about something far worse. But as far as I know, he did mention about being able to obtain the power of the gods. That's what got the attention of the House of Divine in the first place. Which, getting the power of the gods is pretty damn close to ascendancy.
If you ask me, I'm a bit doubtful that even the smartest rebel would be able to conclude that that prismatic gem in the House of Steel's possession.
I agree with you.
Be capable of ascendancy.
I think it's very unlikely unless one of them met with that Goliath who maybe let off more than they should know. I assume the report mentioned the Goliath that I saw in the past.
Yes, one that has burn scars on half of his body. One supposedly
Yes.
from Baruch.
It has the mark of vengeance, yes.
It is quite a troubling circumstance. Though admittedly we should, as the meeting is drawing near, we should focus on the current task at hand. It's likely
Alright,
that either the
negotiating.
rebellion, yes, the negotiation, and as well as the trap that appears to have been set for us, whether it's by the rebellion or by other forces.
I think one of us should sit by Winston, though. For obvious reasons. Should be one of us. We're pretty much the only two I have in the meeting to trust. Either myself to heal him after the fact, or you to help combat it.
Well, so long... actually... Yes, I suppose so, though the Berg heir has been a bit jumpy lately. There's no telling whether or not he'll actually attend the meeting or he'll flee in terror. If he does flee in terror, one of us will have to give up our spot in the meeting.
If he flees in terror, then he forfeits his ability to theoretically be saved. As much as I hate to be callous, I have to focus on the mission.
Yes, I suppose the security of the gem would take priority. We
That
just need to
doesn't mean
be-
I want Winston to die, by the way. I'd rather save him if he stays here.
As do I, though business is business, unfortunately.
Father gave a task. I must see it. What do you know about Brandon?
Brandon? Well, although the noble houses of Berg and Steele seem to dislike each other, Brandon, Steele, and Winston Berg are childhood friends.
Do you think it's less likely that he would know about this then? You think the guards might act on their own from the third party, impersonating whoever's supposed to be with him?
It's a possibility. It's also a possibility there might be some imposter guards among the security guards as well.
Then it's even more important theoretically to save Winston if he stays, because that's something else I can hold over Brandon's house, as callous as that is.
If an incident were to happen, if a scandal were to happen, then it would definitely benefit you in that way. It might be.
I'm sure
just the
we can
thing-
ensure silence if he gives us what he want or what we want, especially if nobody dies.
That's a big if. Unfortunately, this still
I-
requires us to split up if he does flee. We'll have to prioritize the safety of the gem and the safety of Winston. If we cannot guarantee that in the same room, we'll have to split up and guarantee that individually.
So I'll let you decide. Which one would you rather chase down? Winston or the gem? I
To be
personally
honest,
think
To be honest,
unless
I-
Berg stays and I can heal him fast with just a healing word, I think I'm better chasing off the gem. I'm faster. And if I'm near enough to the gem that my powers can activate with that, theoretically even better.
Yep, at the very least, you've seen Pyre jump as a bolt of lightning, 15 feet at minimum.
So, and I think you're a better combatant than I am. I am not a warrior. So theoretically, if his assailants chase him, I think you'd be better off to be the protector. Champion.
I'd agree that it's likely better if you, who has the lightning shard, would catch up with them. Though, I'm not exactly that slow either, mainly due to this sword. And he cuts another hole into the air. He pulls out a little wine bottle.
I might have forgotten about that little fact. I'm not going to lie to you. But I think that makes it even more pertinent for you to be able to save a man's life. If the gem gets away, as much as it is my top priority, the gem gets away and everybody lives, I can at least still negotiate with the House of Steel that if I find it, it's mine. If people die, that gets a little more difficult. So we have a backup plan. I think that sounds reasonable, don't you? And it doesn't require any threats and using the threat of the church. Nobody has to lose at a game of politics if we go around saving lives so people can save face.
Lives and save face. Does sound like a plan. I just hope that this isn't. There's many things they could do. We don't know if Winston is their only target. They could try to set fire to the building or do other terror tactics. That's
No, but
what
one thing at a
concerns me.
time. Hey, to be fair, as almost non-existent as that chance is, there is a possibility that I have the entire vision wrong, and it could be something else. In which case, business is normal. But I think you and I both know how unlikely that is. I didn't go fishing for that vision, it came to me.
At the very least, we'll keep the worst case scenario in mind. And I hope you've brought some bargaining chips from the information you've been gathering or the visions you've been having.
I have a name for the rebellion, somebody who was talking about potentially inciting violence. It's a start. So I have somewhere they can look. Now, I'm hesitant to give the name right away because two of my people that you've met were getting into the rebellion and getting me info. But they gave me a name right away because I needed something. So, if I have to, I will use the name. I don't know the guy, and he's inciting violence. As much as I hate to condemn somebody to death, he's already trying to rally up other people to kill people. Gray area solved.
I see.
This happened at a bar. I can tell them exactly which bar it happened at. I can tell them time. And I probably can find witnesses to corroborate the story with a little persuasion.
Alright. At the very least, it's
So
more
I
than
am
just
not-
rumors and visions, so I think it's a start. And if the... well... time is running short, but I believe... well, okay. I don't want to cover the same information twice, so are you effectively going to tell him what you know about the rebellion, or are you going to keep it very vague?
I'm gonna tell Nathan. I'm gonna say, hey, if nothing comes up where we get a chance to don't spill the beans. This is my trump card. If I have to, I will. But I at least he should be in know in case something happens to me and he wants to continue Father's mission.
So in other words, if we see the man in question, we should be in high alert.
Something
Darren?
like that.
Darren Stormwright.
Darren Stormwright, yes.
If I recall correctly, he runs a gang from the slums. So he runs a violent gang from the slums. They typically do assassination businesses as well as clash with noble house thugs. So they do have a history of violence.
There was one other odd thing they told me about from that meeting. What was I gonna say? Hold on. Chuck just literally fucking lost the train of thought while he was having it. Daniel Stormwright.
Darren Stormwright.
Darren Stormwright, not Daniel. What the hell was I gonna say? I forgot. Fuck it. If I remember, I'll just blurt it out.
Hey, Darren Stormwright. Old man with scar on his face. Okay. Darren Stormwright of Fear.
It would make sense him inciting violence for a rebellion. That would mean business is good, likely for him. It makes sense. I know some of the people who were there at the rebellion were advocating for a peaceful resolution as opposed to violence. But Daniel, or Darren, I don't know why I keep saying Daniel, Darren was opting for the opposite.
The opposite.
Violence.
So if did you reveal the name of Drugel, or are you still keeping that under wraps?
I think he said it in passing at one point because he was talking about the hobgoblin he knew.
But did you link him directly to the rebellion, or did you not link it yet?
Not in this conversation, but I'm trying to remember if I told him about Drugel when we first met him.
Okay.
I don't think we did.
Alright, you have not linked him to the rebellion, you've just... if you...
Just
let
know
anything
that I
slip,
know
it's
a hobgoblin named Drugel, because that's what we were talking about, the mark. So, like, obviously put two and two together for that, but I didn't say, and by the way, he was at the rebellion meeting.
Yeah. Well, if there are two opposing factions, if one leader was to suddenly disappear, that would be a
My
gamble.
thoughts exactly.
That would be a gamble because it could scare the people who want a peaceful option into wanting violence if they think that
On the other hand, it gives us a chance to play nice with both teams. We prop up the people who want peaceful change. We convince the noble house that it is in their best interest to work towards said peaceful resolution, to make sure that instead of having to kill their own workers, that they make their workers a little bit more happy and a little bit more productive as a result. And everybody wins. Like I said, I don't normally care about the politics, but in this case, if it helps, it helps.
But if one of the leaders disappear, it could also have a negative effect.
It could also have a negative
all of them.
effect. Right,
Yes.
which is why I would tell them not necessarily to handle Darren quite yet, not until we get the full picture.
It might be difficult to convince them to stay their hand.
I'll be giving them multiple sources to look into, not just the one.
Rebellion. At the very least.
After all, House of Steel is already going to have to be busy investigating itself and its minds after the vision I give them. No?
They certainly have been mobilizing their forces. They've been sending their military around in multiple places. And transporting their goods with greater armored guards.
So, somebody got my message. I didn't send that to the House of Steel, though. I think I gave that to the House of Crown. I just told them that there was a rebellion coming from there. I didn't say if it was Steel was running it or not.
At the very least, rebellion is bad for business, so Steel is not the only house that seems to be on high alert right now.
Especially if it's not only Steel that gets rebelled against.
But I believe we should move on from talk about the rebellion. Are there any other cards
Right.
you think you can play during this conversation?
Checking his notes really quick to double check that.
There was the House of Wild human trafficking case.
Oh, right, yeah. So there is one other thing. Is there going to be a House of Wild representative there?
No, not the moment. Only the 4 houses I've mentioned.
Oh, well, there was a strange incident that was brought up at this rebellion meeting. Somebody has been going to other countries, convincing people to come here and work, mostly for the House of Wild, I think, and then coming to them saying that they need work permits to continue working there, or facing other threats. I promised I would look into it, at the very least, because it doesn't sound like anything I've heard of. I've never heard of needing a work permit for unskilled labor. Not in Veer. That's not what Veer's about.
I mean, I'm part of the legislative body, and I can tell you that work permits are certainly fiction.
Well, then somebody ought to look into that, the House of Wild, shouldn't they? Either the House of Wild is being impersonated, or they're actually doing it. What's worse?
Well, either way, that is something that's an easy scandal right there. I can contact the House of Crown. They are in charge of law enforcement and inspections.
Might be worth it, but the reason I bring it up also is it could be a bargaining chip. House of Wild isn't there. I bring that up and say, hey, what's next for this to be happening with your house? It got brought up at the meeting specifically, so somebody wants to rebel over this. If we can bring that up and get the rest of the houses to rally behind that being bullshit, well then, I tell everybody the thing that can make them look like big damn heroes to the peaceful side.
Hmm.
I have a lot of ammunition.
Awesome.
I just don't have any money or clout. That's what I'm hoping you can help me with. I don't plan on spending money, but your clout would be really helpful in this case. You've already done a lot for me, I will admit. You've already done more than, quite frankly, any sane person should have. And I appreciate it.
It's all for the security of Vir. And for a fellow worshipper of Sirkava.
Okay. If Berg comes, I think you should be the one to sit next to him. I will keep an eye on, as best as I can, on that lockbox. I will insist that the lockbox is in the room with us for that reason. Even if we don't open it.
Very well. I believe that should be an easy matter. They did mention that they wanted it to be at the meeting hall, under armed guard at all times. And that should be fine.
Well, that sounds like we have an easy... Well, not an easy win, but at least we have a plan.
And I'll at least, at the very least, I will support as many reasonable claims as possible. I can't claim to support everything you'll say, but I will likely be able to support a lot of it.
I won't expect you to throw away your reputation for the sake of this. I know you have a city to run, and that you are, while you were a champion, I understand you have personal matters, and you have a life. I'm not stupid. I do the same thing. I have a life outside of this, although people seem to forget about that.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to discuss? If not, then
Nope.
we'll be moving on to other players.
I'm ready for them to come in. Let's get John causing chaos. I swear to God, John, if it's you that steals this fucking shard, I swear to God, gonna fucking make me have a heart attack.
Okay.
He's in disguise, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Alright. You walk
What a
at this point.
Sorry,
Okay,
go ahead.
so where would you like to be? Because you could be out on lookout there. So you're currently on the 3rd floor. So over here in this spiral staircase, you can actually look out.
I can't see anything. Because I don't think because my token's there. The house is blocked off. Oh wait. Because I'm right
Well,
here
you're-
right now,
yeah,
according
you're right
to my
here.
token.
Whoop.
I
can
got
move
a
you.
quick
Okay.
question for you. These gray areas go right back down to the 1st floor, right? There
Uh,
are balconies going down to the 1st floor, right? That's the
The
1st
gray-
floor.
Hold on. Are you pinging the map somewhere? Shoot.
But yeah, let me just do it by me. Right here is actually the 1st floor, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yep, those gray
so
areas
it's like
are.
2 stories down. Yeah.
Yep,
I thought it
that's
was.
right. Yep. So this is the ground floor. This is the ground floor right here. If you wanted to go to the spiral staircase in the middle and just look down at some of the approaching, the southern side, the south, basically the south west side and the northeast corner, both of those each have a floor, each have like a floor you can walk on. But for the most part, this, you can see it all the way up from the 3rd floor. And on the other side, there's this fancy little room, but you can see all around that room.
It's down to the 1st floor.
Yep, all the way down to the 1st floor.
Okay. I thought it was. I just want to make sure.
Okay. But Secret, you can move around anywhere. You still have about, say, an hour before the meeting starts.
Sure. Which room is the meeting supposed to be in?
So the meeting is supposed to be in here. It's supposed to be right in
Okay.
here. Third floor,
Okay.
that special building.
And then, okay, so I want to be able to see both the stairs and that room wherever I'm waiting.
Okay.
So, like
The-
right here?
Right there? Okay. Right there.
I can't see the stairs from there.
Oh yeah, because
According to
because
the wall.
there's because there is a little like directional board saying that hey, you can go over if you're looking for Mr. Veer's office, you go that way, or if you want the bathroom, you go
Yeah,
that
so
way.
I'll wait here because this is a pretty well. Hold on a second. So I wanted to be somewhere right here. I'm just trying to figure out where my token has vision of both things going on here. Okay, this seems like the spot.
Just bear in mind that if
So
you
like
want to
against
look down,
against this wall.
okay. Just bear in mind that if you did want to look down at the first floor, you might have to actually look down at the first floor on the upper corner. And I might have to.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah, but
Actually-
Nathan's down there waiting, right?
Nathan is still in his room. It looks like he has some other paperwork he's going through right now.
Hmm. And perhaps
If you
I
can't
will actually.
see- I'm just gonna put Zalal's token because I think I have access. Everyone has access to Zalal's
I think
token.
I still have. Do I still have access to his token? Let's find out.
So I'm gonna plant Zalal here. Can everyone
I
see
see his-
Zalal's vision?
I can, yes.
If someone can't see Zalal's vision, just let me know. Because first floor vision is probably gonna be important.
Well, if Nathan's up here, then perhaps maybe I'll wait actually by the stairs on the first floor. So, because this is the entrance from the outside, right? Where the bird is?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
This is the entrance from the outside, right on the first floor?
Yep.
So, what I might do is I might actually wait on the first floor by the stairs. That way I'm near the action, or at least I'm near Berg.
Okay. Alright. If you want to be all the way down at the first floor, I might have to move you. Okay, first floor at the stairwell. You're at the
Yeah.
first floor now. You can move yourself anywhere.
Can I see? I actually can't. I am stuck in whatever wall this is.
Oh, that's a wall? Really?
According to this is a wall. Even though I can see through it.
Oh, does that mean you also can't move past the balcony?
I can go here,
You can, huh? That's
but I had
that's
to go
weird.
around like this.
Yeah. It does block dynamic. It does block your movement. Okay, even if it's transparent. Alright, good to note.
So yeah, I'll wait here. This is a good vision of the entrance here.
Okay. Alright, alright. You'll wait right there.
Yep, like a nice person.
Okay. And we're actually going to move the camera over to... Actually, first off, before we move the camera over to Zorg, we're going to say what happens at the building. So at this point... Stefan,
Yeah.
Stefan, Jared does come by and he says, "Alright, so the Bergs are going to be arriving very shortly. Keep an eye out for anything suspicious and keep doing what you're doing."
Want me to keep a good close eye on the birds when they're in the meeting?
Yes, at the very least, since you're up here on the third floor, just keep an eye on them as they approach the stairs, and when they're at the meeting, just keep your eyes peeled.
I'll get in the doorway at the other side and watch. That should be
Alright.
close enough, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be close enough. Sounds good. I have my other
Okay.
guys start escorting them in.
Yeah.
Alright, and the Bergs are arriving from the southern entrance. So, Secret, you do notice some guards. The guards all have different uniforms from what you can see. These people are wearing black uniforms, and you notice them start walking down to the southern entrance. 2 of them, at least.
Are they wearing? You said they're wearing various uniforms, but do they all have the same sigil or same heraldry?
So these ones are all black. They have all black armor, but they don't seem to have any heraldry on them.
Like mercenaries?
Could be.
Yes.
They could be. As for the others, you do notice, like, these people look like they're just regular security.
Okay.
And these people also look, they're wearing a green raiment. You don't know what that would signify. It probably is a difference in rank. And on the stairwell, you notice a guy who is wearing a white raiment and also wielding a big bow.
None of these look like the uniforms of the people who stabbed Berg, right? In my vision?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the guy in white because he kind of looks unique.
Yeah. Just a brief look over at him. You can see that his bow doesn't appear to have a string, so he's likely a light archer.
I won't say anything for now. I'm not gonna be that guy, but try to reasonably keep an eye on things around here. I do have decent perception.
Okay. So these men walk down to the southern side of the building. They walk it down to the southern side of the building as two elves are dropped off from their carriage. You can see the other security guards. The other security guards effectively like hand them off. And you are far away, so you probably, unless you want to actively like eavesdrop, you can probably see the birds coming in from the southern entrance, but unless you're actively eavesdropping, you probably won't hear what they say at the entrance.
I might try if I can do so without looking like I'm eavesdropping.
Okay, make a stealth roll.
Okay. Never mind. Might just happen to be, oh shit. Sorry, I was coming to greet you. If they see me, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Yeah, you're keeping a lookout. If you want to hear them, you would have needed to come close. And the guards would definitely see you approaching. Let's see, so... The elder man... This guy is a man by the name of Elijah Berg. He says, "Alright. Now, I know there's someone playing pranks on you and sending you death threats and such, but you really do need to trust our security. They'll keep you safe. There's nothing to worry about. You need to take the reins of the business sooner or later, and this will be a good experience. Just push those thoughts out of your mind. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing."
Can I walk up on them while they're having that conversation? You said they're elves, right?
Yep, both of them are elves.
Ah, and elvish, and holy god, that man's stare. Holy shit, he looks paranoid. Sorry, that dude's
That's
eye
wild.
caught me off. There's something
Seems
about his eyes, man.
inconvenient.
That dude has
Yeah,
seen some
right.
shit that no eldritch god would ever be able to fucking explain.
He
Um,
has dipped into the depths of the candy cane.
And he's been getting
he-
notes.
the worst part about it is, as much as I like it, he looks like Hugh Laurie if Hugh Laurie was an elf. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, he looks like House if House was an elf, and I can't unsee it. But in fluent Elvish, I'll greet them both and say, greetings to both of you.
Ah,
You must be the Bergs.
greetings. Greetings. Yes, we are the Bergs. And you are?
Forgive me. My name is Secret Dream, son of Sirkava, seer of the church.
Ah, seer. Does the church have business with the House of Berg, or is this just pleasant, or are we just... What is it?
Let's
What-
call it pleasantries for now. I'm looking
Pleasantries.
to learn who's going to be at this meeting.
So a representative of the church will be at the meeting. I see.
Yes, I will be here with Lord Veer himself.
Lord Veer himself.
The church has business here. Granted,
see.
I'm not sure that the business completely covers your interests, but it might, based on the things I might have to say.
Well, I think it
I'm mostly here to talk
is.
to the House of... I'm mostly
Mm.
here to talk to Brandon, if I'm going to be honest. I'm speaking this in Elvish, obviously, as I said before.
Business with the House of Steel. Well, our business in the meeting, there's only one big meeting that we're all here for, at least during the Festival of Prosperity. We're here to discuss that unique gem in the Steel's possession.
It's funny you mentioned that. That's exactly why I'm here. He
Church-
smiles.
The church has special interest. Well, let's see what you can bring to the table. The House of Berg certainly has their interests in that gemstone as well. We think it could
I
make
think you and
quite a good recreational piece or quite a good enchanting piece.
all of the houses will have interest in that, depending on how much you actually know what it is.
Know what it is? You mean it's more than just a showpiece?
He smiles.
I see.
There are latent magics in it. So when you talk
Yeah.
about using it as an enchanting piece, you might get more than you bargained for.
I see. So the church has its eye on stone as well, and they seem to think that it's as powerful as the gemstone that was used to make the Riftwalker, Nathaniel Veer's weapon. Interesting.
It's a beautiful weapon, isn't it?
It is. And that gem could make it another beautiful lightning weapon.
I think that it is. I won't go too deep into it until the meeting, but off the record, in Elvish, to both of you, of course, there is more to that gem that could potentially be very dangerous to all the houses, and that's why the church is here. I promise to explain more at the meeting, but it wouldn't be fair to have to explain myself 4 times in a situation that you wouldn't all be prepared and on the same even playing field.
That is understandable. We'll see what cards you bring, and you will have the pleasure of seeing what cards we bring at the table.
You are the head of the house, yes?
Yes, I am the patriarch of the House of Berg.
It's nice to meet you. I won't take up too much more of your time. You all have a great meeting, and I'll see you soon. Nathaniel is in his room, or in his office, taking care of a few more things. You are a little early, but I'm sure you know that.
Yes, we do. The meeting is still in an hour and a half. And
Well-
No, continue.
I was just going to say, well, Then good day to you both. I will see you soon in more official capacity. Enjoy.
It's been a pleasure. And he begins walking off
He's on it and he's playing.
as Winston just kind of like the stare that he's giving in the picture, he's just kind of giving you as he's walking by.
Mm-hmm. Now look at him. Try to not act like I know you're going to get stabbed. And I'm not even the one to do it. Okay. Once they're kind of gone and they're kind of already heading upstairs, I'm gonna go back to the original place I was so that I can see the entrances. Because Brandon's not here yet. I would know that by now if he was. I'm waiting for Brandon's goons to really show up now that I know what's going on.
All right. Zorg, we're gonna move the camera right back to you. You are
All right.
all done with your militia training. All the food has been distributed. Everyone's eaten. And Drugels walks up to you and he says, "All right. So Zorg, are you familiar with the Adventurers Guild here in Veer?"
Zorg would not be familiar with the Adventurers Guild in Veer.
It's basically, if you've done any mercenary work, most of the time you'd have to go through the Town Hall / Adventurers Guild.
Are they all the same?
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's like the Town Hall and the Adventurers Guild. Mercenary work is very big in Veer, and it's all centralized into one organization, basically. It's part of the government as well.
Okay, then Zorg probably would have had some idea about it, if not gone through some missions with them.
Good. Well, we have 4 prospective mercenaries over here. Well, I guess 5, including myself. And we were wondering if you could at least give us the basic rundown and give us a brief tour of the Adventuring Guild. No, if you're busy, we understand.
Zorg will say, why not?
Alright. Pyre, if you're still here, you can tag along if you want. Same thing with you, Quiltech.
Oh. Okay. Quiltech. I think Pyre was torn between the two. Quiltech seemed to have walked off. Zorg did this thing. Did he simply get distance, Zoid? Or did he go off and do something completely different?
Unfortunately, he would stick around. Seeing this, he would feel that perhaps there is more that would occur without him being there. So, against his better judgment, he will stay. So he would have made his way back to the sidelines.
All right. In that case, Pyre
But yeah,
is...
I definitely will say this. He's much more anxious to have Secret give him a message of please gather everyone up or do something, because unfortunately, Quiltech doesn't have the power to draw away this force, unlike the organizers. So that's what he's silently saying in his head. And I don't know if we can do like communications there, but maybe just like I don't know how you want to do that. It's not like he's actively trying to do it, but if there's like latency there, perhaps.
I'll leave that up to Jorah.
So it's...
As for... Go ahead.
So, situation... Are you trying to... Could you explain what it is you want to do? Because I am a little confused on...
It's more just like I have a very strong emotion of I would like to have Secret come and call me so that I have a reason to get out of here and possibly to bring the group out because they're causing trouble here. They're the ones that have done this. So, and again, I don't have control over them, but apparently Secret does, according to, I've never seen him order them around, so I don't know for certain, but if he's organizing it as he should be, then he'd be the only person that they would listen to. So it's more of just like a silent plea, and maybe because it's a strong enough emotion it goes through, but it
Okay,
doesn't
okay.
have to. It's more just like a passive thing if it happens or not, but I'm not actively trying to communicate with him.
Okay, so
This
through
is-
the link.
this-
Through the link. Okay.
Yeah, this is also just a test of future things, just to see how you feel about that, where it's just like a strong latent emotion, and how that handles in the future. That's why I'm bringing it up now.
So
But you can
to boil down this feeling, it's basically anxiety. Or...
anxiety, yes. Like
Okay.
it'd be like fear, anger, happiness. All these like very strong emotions would essentially be flashed.
Yep.
So that would be essentially what I'm kind of getting to.
I'm not sure if Secret is already feeling anxious knowing that a lot of stuff might be going down soon, but you definitely do feel a little bit more anxious.
Yeah, I feel like for Secret's pretty calm. Like a lot of shit's about to go down, but as far as he knows, he's accounting for a lot of the variables. So like I wouldn't say he feels in control, but he definitely like maybe nervous, but like everybody should be nervous in a situation like this.
All right.
At least that's what he would tell you.
So,
So
Zorg...
Pyre's intention would be to speak to Queelik while Zorg handles the group.
All right, you two can go at it.
Alright, so Pyre doesn't stare him down, but he has a steady gaze. Walks up to you, Queelik. Do you allow him to do so? He does not have a threatening posture.
I'm just on the sidelines. There would be no reaction. You'd simply just walk up.
Alright, so he gets to the sidelines with you. Maybe we're leaning against a fence or something. You question leadership during a fight. In fact, you stopped the fight. Why?
Shouldn't it be obvious why I have done so?
Not according to a Thry Queen. It's
What
not
do
like you're
you
kind to
know
have.
my kind.
I know you deal in blood and thievery. What did they pay you to get out? What favors were you hoping to get?
Your question speaks volumes to what you wish to achieve and what you focus on.
You
Why must
make an
there
ass
be a reason?
because you make an ass of me, force me to assume I'm in pursuit of truth, and then you proceed to assume my end without even bothering to question. I'd say, if anything, the wrong's on your front, though you seemed quick to shed the blood on someone else. If this was an organized force, you would be up for execution. Why did you act this way?
You speak of rules and regulations as if they hold any merit in your soul. What I witnessed makes me question that. Do not lecture me on rules and morality.
I'm not in the habit of lecturing Thry Queen. My first assumption was that you are more of the traitor stock, not of the raider stock. But on both accounts, you have proven me wrong yet again. If you are neither raider nor traitor, what are you? Who are you? What hive are you from?
is not something that I wish to divulge.
Then what do you wish to divulge, O four-armed one?
You have come
Oh.
to me for questions. I seek no answers.
I will force answers should you not give them.
Through blood or force, or perhaps through your persuasion, which we have seen is quite volatile.
Volatility is efficient when derived in a focused direction.
Do not
Using
speak
it.
big words over such a simple fact.
Then what is the fact? What is the question? You have asked me no questions. You have only made assumptions, thrown guilt, thrown accusations, and done nothing but impede. What are you? Who are you? Are you friend, foe, neutral? What? What?
As it stands, I am an ally, or perhaps through a mutual acquaintance.
So you're not here to train. You're not part of the militia. You're not part of war games that dearest Zorg is doing. And in case it doesn't come across to your more insectile appearance, yes, dearest is used in jest.
Have I wronged your honor that you come to me as this?
Does the individual matter when the race is filth? Can you find a diamond in the trash? I am giving you a chance to explain yourself before I call for your extermination. Yet you seem to have no self-preservation. You do know who you're talking to.
Of course. Or perhaps I have a fair idea. However, if this is how you portray yourself, I ask why. That is my only question.
At least you have a question. Let's play a game. For every question I answer, you will answer one of mine that I will ask after I answer your question.
Under what pretense? Do you
Trade.
only deal in underlying threats? I have no bearing to this.
You have no value to the question you asked, then why did you ask it? You have no care for organization. You tear it down around you, yet you speak to us of laws. You are a bundle of contradictions. At least I have a course. If you do not want to play a game with me, then offer me something to answer your question if you even care to receive an answer. I'm not unfair.
I have already been judged. I need not be judged by you.
Then, in exchange for not judging you, give me a reason not to judge you. Convince me. Use your words. Use your persuasion. Make your stance. You know you've already been given an impression. I didn't even notice you until you walked into the ring. Now that you have made one, and you don't wish to have an impression, you don't want to leave assumptions, help me have a correct judgment, not one of authority, not one of law, but of understanding. Persuade me, use your words, use your whispers, your hisses, your thorax, or whatever it's called.
What did you see?
I see a raider and a thief posing as a spy, playing at the games of beings it can't comprehend.
Pyre's such a nice guy.
I am a nice guy.
Then you must look at this crowd with contempt if that is your vision of me.
Most of it's riffraff. The two miners over there, I'm afraid of their contracts. More to clear my debt than theirs. Promised them safety, and I did not give them such. Now they see fit to pursue fighting, as if something's awakened in them. Maybe the illusion of having control over their destinies. The rest are forgetful. The woman, quaint, in power, though doesn't deserve it. And the orc is the best spy I've ever met. Sorry, not spy. What's a word you would understand? Assassin. Bait. The red herring. The incomprehensible. There, I have shared with you what I see. What do you see?
I see a soul lost in a fog. Behind every tree, a shifting shadow. One who stands upon their pedestal in the middle of a clearing, looking out at everything around. Content to sit upon such a pedestal. Seeing their own power as there are none to counter it, yet they are in the forest. They are not above the clouds. The sun does not reach them. They are part of the forest.
I do wield power, though distressing little of it is my own. I find using the power of those beneath me to be much more satisfactory. However, I do seek to discover a way to clear this fog and find my own strength and limits. But as for lesser beings beneath me, is it not natural to look down on them? Is it not better to do so than to ignore them completely? When status is not as important, what does matter? How do you judge the worth of a man? Or Thrycrane? I don't judge that much.
What are you worth? Truly.
Worth? Depends on who you ask.
I am not asking anyone else.
Myself. I am worth only what my father sees in me. I am a discarded scrap. Even scraps can be used to forge something of fine quality. He kind of shifts, his middle legs creaking. I did not fashion this pedestal by myself.
No. You found it. You were given it. But in the end, when the rains come, you'll still drown with everyone else. just a little bit later, after you've stood on the rocks surrounding you.
Yes. Which is why I need to find a better pedestal. One of my making and not of the making of something that could crumble. Pity never made a good foundation.
There is no pedestal that you can create that will rise you above the flood. It will only extend your time.
So, what are you? Prophet? Naysayer? Or fatalist? Does it bother you that all things come to an end? Even now you're writing the story of how you will die?
Everything comes to an end. Everything must. We all have our ending at one point. I wonder what will happen when the flood clears. What will rise up from the riverbanks that will have you in it.
It doesn't matter. What matters is what I can control now that's in my power and my effect. Not what's imposed on me, nor what is ahead of me. I can prepare, I can plan, I can work, I can struggle, and there's beauty in that. But we digress. Zorg is doing a job over there, though he doesn't seem to understand how to use his words. Men don't seem to realize it, though, with the way he threw those muscles around.
You as the voice. Why seek discord? For your own entertainment.
To weaken my enemy.
Of course.
I think I told you in no unclear terms that Zorg is the enemy of my family.
Has he done anything to wrong you?
Which is precisely why I suspect him. No, but we have done much to wrong him, if that could be called a wrong, depending on your perspective.
You wish
People
to
do
tarnish
not like.
his name.
He doesn't have a name. We are the ones with the name. Anything that he considered as a history has been burned away. He doesn't hold it against me, but I don't believe him.
I do not know what you speak of, nor do I wish to know. That is between you and him. It is not my business. However,
Northwest of here is a swath of land that is cinders. You cross through it to come here. Unless you didn't realize you had mist as well.
Wait.
I was trying to reference the map. It's hard. So never
So
eat
you're
soggy
talking about-
waffles. Northeast, Zorg's
So
land, country.
Zorg's land, he didn't cross through it. Geographically speaking, he would have crossed through Baruch, but I don't think he would have been crossing through Zucani. Darrence is way to the south, southwest of Zucani. It's past Zakir even, so it's unlikely. Actually,
The
it's
way
very
Fire has an
unlikely.
abysmal sense of geography.
So according to the map, I would have had to move from I would have to
I could
was it
probably just-
Baruch that you
Yeah,
you
Baruch.
had me at Baruch? Yeah,
So you were at Darrence. Your city-state
Yeah.
was Darrence.
yeah, so yeah, no, that I would have been able to get to Veer through the ruins. Yeah, that would have been my direct course because I would have had to go around the coast there. Yeah, on
Oh.
the northern coast of that inlet there.
Funnily enough, Baruch is a land that has been cursed by two different gods. It has been vaporized by Zygrin, as well as cursed with eternal darkness by Lumen, the god of light. But with your blind sense, you can definitely just walk through that.
Yeah, like that didn't bother me. I would have been
It's a
Let them do
barren
that.
land. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
completely barren land.
I came from a desert. It's just home away from home.
Yep.
So Pyre shrugs and he says, but regardless, you don't want to be judged. It seems you want to judge others, be a prophet, be a voice, the critic. So what are you going to do about it? Sit on this fence? Are you going to ask questions? Do investigations, cover up what you don't want to see? Like you did with that man's head, or what remained of it.
Is that what you see in that action?
Yes,
I pity
a
you.
compensation. You do know what happens to a soul after it dies.
Of course. But
Then you know he has a better chance than he did ever in Veer.
is that how you play it out?
That is what I have been known by the highest, among the highest of authorities.
There are many things that I regret. There are many things that I wish I could change. If you do not understand my actions with that man, then I cannot, and you cannot understand me.
No, but that doesn't mean I can't try. I can't examine a puzzle that doesn't make sense that I don't have the pieces to. Even if you refuse me those pieces. But you have a puzzle as well. Blind leading the blind. What do you need here in this city?
I have already been accomplishing my work. I have been taken from it for other reasons.
Ah, a watcher. How quaint. Well, I'll leave you to it, but should we ever be in an actual battle, game or not, not this training, but something more serious, should I suspect you of malicious interference, I will consider you an enemy regardless of what sigil you wear. Keep that in mind, not as a threat, but as something to consider as consequences to actions. And he pushes off from the fence and begins to walk away.
Okay.
Klokek is gonna go to wherever there's injured people, and he's gonna spend some hours there.
All right.
This conversation has just exhausted him mentally. He finds this character to be extremely distasteful.
So, Secret, what's
So-
the very first thing that's on your mind right now? Cool cat.
Sorry, I was muted.
So, what's the very first thing that's on Secret's mind right now as you're waiting?
Probably going over the vision in his head to see if there's any details that he missed when he kept examining it.
Okay. Quelkek,
So
you...
contemplative, I guess, if you need a one-word emotion.
Quelkek, you have a very, very, very bad feeling about something in Town Hall. You feel that someone's probably gonna get stabbed very soon, and you aren't exactly sure where that thought is coming from.
Well, at this point, I probably would have not even made it out. Like, however this training field is, like, if it has walls and it has, like, main gates to allow people in and out, I probably would have been, like, just outside the main gate on the road by the time I got this. And so it's like, I got, like, two decisions here.
Yep.
He has to go with the other one. It's not, it just seems too out of place to not have a reason, because that wasn't even on my mind. So
Yep.
why is it there? So I'm going to go see it as a clue and essentially go.
I follow Quelkek. He's too interesting. If I am in vocal range of Zorg or within visual range, I will give him a wave or a shout, letting him know I'm departing. I will desert to see what's wrong with this frickin' insect.
He's probably about like 15-minute walk ahead of you guys because you spoke for a while. So they're probably ahead of you, and I'm assuming that Quelkek's probably at a casual pace as well.
He's not. He's quick, but he's not like sprinting. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like a fast power walking sort of.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So all the players are now going to be gathering at the one spot. So Secret, as you're watching the doors, you notice Zorik and Ash enter into the Adventurer Guild building, and behind him are pretty much all the people that you have saved, the miners plus that beggar. As they walk in through the door, you also notice Droogle.
Oh no. I'm gonna go stop them. Right here.
Do you wave? Because where Droogle would asked Zorg was to take them to the adventuring board, which is all the way to the north.
I mean, instead of waving, I'm just gonna look at Zorg and Orcish. I'm just gonna ask, what are you doing here? Exactly.
Zorg will look at him, and he'll say back in Orcish, "You know, to be honest, I don't really remember."
Look at Droogle and say, what are you guys doing here? Exactly. This is very strange timing.
Oh, Zorg is just showing us around the Adventurers Guild. You see, we're thinking about becoming mercenaries, and we just want to get familiar with the processes here in Veer. Possibly get ourselves registered in the future.
What happened to you in fishing? For your destiny?
I can always just do a night job for fishing.
Gonna look at Zorg. I feel like this is just like the look of like this is your fault. And I'm gonna look back at Droogle and say, well, I can't necessarily fault you for wanting to try something different. The visions were quite clear that your best fortunes will be made from fishing, so don't give it up.
Well, let's see. Well, the first time I listened to you, I ended up in a jail cell. But I suppose I can give it another shot. That's why I'm going to be doing night fishing instead. But it's more.
Now wait a minute.
This is more so for
You
their
ended up in
sake
a
than mine.
jail cell. Nothing you did was illegal, as far as I know. What happened?
And he basically tells you the same thing that Ash and Zork, like the fuller story of what happened.
The work permit?
Yeah, the work permit.
About the work. Droogle, I talked to Veer himself today about that very thing, and he said whatever is going on with that is not the law. Work permits are not a thing.
He's not saying he's so. The full context of what Droogle had experienced, he bumped into a goblin worker, and that worker had a work permit, and he was unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some guards basically took him in along with the goblin. He ended up in possession of the goblin's work permit in that jail cell out of Veer. Probably was going to get into forced labor or something like that until he describes the person who came to pay his bail, and that was Nathaniel Veer himself. Until Nathaniel Veer himself came and bailed him out, but he doesn't know.
Do you know? Okay, so when he describes, I'll say, do you know who paid your bail? From that description?
Some noble rich guy.
Try the patriarch of the House of Veer.
Wait.
I was talking to him about those work permits today, actually. Those are going to be investigated. Those are not a thing.
It's going to be investigated.
I promise you. Nathaniel is behind me on this.
Well, until it's completely gone. Until it's completely gone, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Just
No,
don't do
no.
anything crazy,
What? Crazy?
please. Listen, you've already ended up in a jail cell once, even if it seems to be under false pretenses. I'm just asking you to show a little common sense, is all.
Excuse me? You're talking like you know where I've been and what I've been doing this whole time.
I can't say I know everything, but what I can say for sure is that even now I'm having visions.
Oh, really? And what does it say about me? Am I gonna go die a horrible death in the near future?
Not likely.
Not likely. So you have seen a death?
Maybe. But I can see a death for just about anybody if I go looking. That's not special. Everybody can make one accidental mistake.
I've almost died lots of times.
Nods at Zorg. The way I see you having a gruesome death is if you go seeking it out, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's just how it works with mercenary work. You all had
I'd rather...
had a close call down in the mines. I'm sure none of you were seeking death in that front either.
Zorg
Look,
always seeks death.
the timing is really poor right now because I have to go to a meeting with some of the house nobles. But I would like to talk to you, Drugel, at some point. I promise I will try to be more clear on the visions I've had recently and your importance in them, but this is not a good time. You want to go learn how to be a mercenary legally? Fine. Just don't go accepting any missions yet. I'm asking you as a favor to not take any missions yet. That's all.
Don't worry about that. Some of these greenhorns wouldn't handle the hunting and extermination missions. We're just gonna be doing the manual labor ones for the most part, at least to start out.
That works. I promise I'll explain your importance to some of these visions later. Keep yourself alive. Keep yourself out of a jail cell. Zorg, can I talk to you really quick? Actually, your timing might be advantageous.
Zorg will walk over towards Seeker.
If you wanted privacy, you're literally right next to an interview room if you want to step into that small room and close the door.
I'll just look at Ash and then them and the miners and say, will you gentlemen excuse us for just a moment? I will have Zorg out here shortly again.
Okay, I'll move both of you into that room. I actually do need
But I'm going
put
to speak in Orcish at this point, just in case. And I'm going to keep my voice low. I'm going to say, look, I might be able to use you as a backup. Something is probably going to happen at this meeting. I've had visions.
Something bloody.
Somebody who I don't want to die. Okay, let me start over. I'm about to have a meeting with the Bergs, House of Steel, House of Veer, and who was the other house I'm forgetting?
House of Berg, the House of
Crown?
Steel, the House of Veer, and the House of Cinders.
Oh, and then the House of Cinders. Reason that is important is that I am trying to. They're all going to negotiate to try to get that shard. I am also trying to negotiate to get that shard. However, I had a vision. One of the Bergs is going to get attacked by two of the House of Steel guards. The reason why your timing is advantageous isn't that we can handle the guards attacking. Nathaniel's probably much stronger than pretty much any random guard in this building. What I need, though, is I might need your help chasing down somebody. Because in the commotion in the vision, someone stole the shard and tried to run off with it. Right now, Nathaniel and I have a plan, and that plan is if things come to pass, I'm going to be chasing down said person with the shard. Now, as you know, I am not exactly the strongest combatant, but you are, comparatively to me. And even if I outrun you, if I can just slow the guy down enough, your presence would be very appreciated. For obvious reasons. If somebody escapes with the shard, would you be willing to stay here and help me chase them?
Who does the shard go to if we obtain said shard?
I'm hoping us. I plan to use this incident I've had in my vision to our advantage. My goal is to save William Berg, or Walter Berg. Wait, is it William or Walter? It's
Winston.
a W. Winston. I plan on saving Winston Berg, and I plan on preventing the theft of the shard. Or at the very least, using that as we saved Winston Berg, we keep the House of Steel from going public about their guards trying to assassinate him, and we blackmail them that way so everybody can save face while we get the shard. That is my goal. None of the houses need any kind of scandal. And I'm also going to bring up the fact that the House of Wild, or somebody pretending to be the House of Wild, is passing out these fake bullshit work permits. And I'm going to also advocate for working with the peaceful revolutionaries you talked to me about. That is how I intend to get the shard from this situation.
So
Now,
your plan
if-
is to chase down a man who, in the aftermath, is somehow going to have the shard.
The way that I saw it, the two guards closest to Brandon Steele strike. They stab Winston Berg. Well, during the chaos, while the other guards are running into the room, in my vision, there was a glint of red, and one other guard was running away, and he had the shard.
One of the steel guards?
I believe it was a steel guard in my vision, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the steel guards. Not one of the ones who attacked initially. Someone else. There are at least 3 traitors among the steel guards, I believe. If the House of Steel isn't, purposely perpetrating this, which is a whole other story. But supposedly, Brandon Steele and Winston were childhood friends. Even if he was, attempting some political maneuver by killing a House of Berg, from what I understand from what Nathaniel said, it would be very unlikely that he would try to have Winston killed. They were friends. They are friends. Will you help me?
I may be able to offer my assistance.
The meeting is going to start soon. I don't know when during the meeting this happens, so what I'd be asking you to do is potentially stay around here in the Adventurer Guild. Hang out. You'll know when I need you, because you know I'm loud, and I'm probably the only Tabaxi you've personally met that speaks Orcish as fluently as I do. I will call for you in Orcish.
Okay, look for the Orcish cat.
If you want to think of it that way. Look. I don't necessarily like the path Drugel is taking, but I can deal with him later. And I don't want you to necessarily tip everything off yet. I don't want Drugel getting involved in this. I
I'll
don't
make
want
sure to
Drugel
keep
getting
Drugel
killed.
safe.
Okay. If you happen to, I don't know if you're with anybody besides Ash, but if you could spread the word to the others, if for some reason you all happen to be here for some reason, let the others know. I might need everybody's help.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
I'm not against having help. I appreciate your help, Zord. And I'll pat him on the shoulder. We'll get this shit done right.
As long as there's blood.
Oh, I'd rather avoid it if we can, but if that thief tries to run away and he attacks you, I don't see why you can't just, defend yourself ruthlessly. But try not to kill anybody if you're not attacked first. Wouldn't want you to kill anybody today.
I think I already killed someone earlier today, actually.
You did what?
Why?
Why? When?
It was a battle to the death, you know. They agreed.
They agreed to a battle. Where? I thought you were training for the war games. You killed somebody during the training?
You know, these two guys, they were from the Steel House, you know.
Oh my god. And now it's the house that I'm trying to negotiate with? I'm gonna grab Zorg by both shoulders. I don't care how much bigger or stronger he is than me. I'm gonna start shaking him. And I'm gonna, in Orcish, get really close to him and I'm gonna say, not a fucking word about this until after I have the shard. Not a fucking word. Do you understand?
I
Do
guess
not
so.
play stupid with me. No, do not play stupid with me right now, Zorg. I need this shard.
I would have killed two. I mean, I would have left no evidence behind, but you know, somebody stopped me.
Oh god. Yeah, probably because you fucking killed a guy at a fucking game.
Wait, they agreed to a death match, an Orcish death match, you know, hand-to-hand combat.
We'll talk about this later. I have a meeting to go into. Just be prepared. If you see anybody else, like Ash, Pyre, or a Thrycreen, who's hanging around, please let them know. Or Stefan. Great. If Stefan shows up too, please let him know I need his help.
Isn't
Wherever
Ash
the hell
outside?
he is. Huh?
Yeah, Ash is outside. Ash came with Zorg. If you want, we can just say that Ash was also in the same room if you want, unless you want to talk to him individually.
Well, I was talking to
Let
Zorg
me get
individually
the
because
chat
I was leaving
together.
Ash
Let's
to
get
keep
this
an eye on them.
thing over with.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'll let Ash know.
But yeah, okay, I'm going to the meeting. Keep them there. Wait for my call. You'll either hear the Orcish tabaxi or you will hear a lot of noise. One of the two. There might be a lot of screaming when somebody
Do I
gets
need to
stabbed.
come with the battle axe ready?
Couldn't hurt. Just don't kill anybody that's not trying to kill you, please. I can. We'll deal with this later. Just, I appreciate your future help. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Violence is the best defense.
Oh, God. Where's Stefan when you need him? He says as he like walks past Sword to go out the door. And I'll look back at the others and nod and say, "You all have a good day. Talk to you soon."
Yeah, take care, Secret, Frankie says as he waves back at you.
I'll kind of give him like a two finger anime salute, like a casual like "see ya," and then exactly one of those. And then I'll try to walk away like I didn't just have an aneurysm at Zorg and like nothing happened.
Fucking shit.
And then I will wait for House of Steel people again, watching both entrances.
All right. Stefan, you also likely see Zorg and the others arrive as well. Okay, all right. Oh wait. There's one other thing Drugel did want to mention while he was right next to you, Secret. Drugel asks, so how's your hair been holding up? Because it was a bit electrified the last time we saw you.
My fur is growing back just fine. I am not a son of Serkava and a seer of the church for nothing. I am a decent healer. I know how to tend my own wounds. Look, I'm already handsome again.
Yeah, you're getting back to your prime. still, it's only been a couple days.
Feels like 4
Yeah.
weeks.
I wonder why.
I will be around. You guys have fun.
Hold on. I have a question that I need to answer.
Pyre will
Oh,
be
and
at
Frank-
the next session, right?
Who will?
Pyre?
Bones? Bones, are you going to be here next
I
week?
heard Pyre. What was?
Are you gonna be here
I
next
was
week?
listening. I will be here next week.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's at the end of this month that you won't be.
I'm not sure how I missed that question. Like I'm looking at the screen. I have the volume on.
I've been there. I've done that. I've literally once watched the game, listening to the game, and yet somehow missed the name, somebody talking to me, and directly, even though I could name everything that happened in the scene before that.
Maybe
to.
Cool Cat's mic just like glitched out because like not right now, but when the question was asked, because I did hear something that sounded like a garbled Pyre, and I was like, okay, if I just wait, maybe someone will explain what he said and why. And then
No,
it
they were
just
talking
fully
to
pivoted
Bones.
towards me.
Not
Pyre.
Pyre. We were not talking to Pyre. We were talking to Bones.
The player
Okay,
of Pyre.
imposter.
Yeah,
Got
Bones.
it. Got it. Yeah.
But Drukle would say, sounds like you don't have anything to fear, because according to what Ash said, apparently he doesn't have whatever electrocuted you anymore. And you know that his
No.
stone is now in Pyre's possession. Yeah.
Right. No, it's not there. We're keeping it somewhere safe. Can't talk too much about it. Church business. I wink at him.
Wait, it had to do with the church? Well, it was just some fancy stone.
What you don't realize is this is Veer. Everything has to do with the church. What do you think the primary god of this nation is? My
Zerkava.
father, of course.
Oh, yeah, Zerkava. Only to the House of Veer, though. All the other houses have their own gods.
Well, that's just because we're so nice and tolerant here in Veer and in Father's domain. We can't all be like, we can't all be like Zygon.
Or Nile.
Didn't know a thing we get done. Do you have that mark, by the way?
What, the Mark of Nile? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
Just a conversation I was having today, actually. Just a weird thing. Just
Oh.
about god marks and things like that. And
That
Nile
all hu-
came up.
That all hobgoblins have the Mark of Nile? Yeah, for the
Well,
most
at least
part,
the ones
that's
from
true.
Riviera. Just a weird thing. Synchronicity. Are you familiar with that term? Synchronicity. It's I'm technically using it wrong in this context, but it still works. Synchronicity. Have you ever had a dream or a daydream about something and then something happens that affirms that in some way? It's called a synchronicity.
Yeah, I suppose I've dealt with some superstitions here and there. Something similar to that, yeah.
Well, it happens to. If you're a son of Zerkava and you take the vision seriously, it happens all the time. That's why I was saying you should really not give up on fishing.
Like he says, "Why are you so adamant about this?"
I told you I'll tell you later, but this is not a good time. I don't want to be late. I'm waiting for
You can see
somebody.
him. You can see him give you a suspicious look. All right.
I solemnly swear, as seer of the church, that I will explain in due time soon. Just not today.
All right.
Find me in my
whatever.
office tomorrow. How about that?
Your office? Wait, you have an office?
My office. You don't become a seer at the Church of Zerkava without getting an office if you're at the church long enough, or if you're at a specific church long enough.
Everyone present except for Anton, they look at each other and then they look at you and say, "Wait, you were a seer this whole time?"
Just smiles. I probably didn't introduce myself properly because I was undercover at the time you met me. Secret Dream, son of Sirkava, seer of the Church of Sirkava.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, Droogle, Mason says. You could say, I guess you could say it certainly was fate that all of us met that day. If we didn't run into them, we probably wouldn't have made it out.
Now, can I have your trust and why? Maybe it's important you keep potentially not giving up that little hobby.
We'll see if I end up in another jail cell.
If you do, over that, send for me.
Alright. I'll be sure to send... I'll be sure to look for you, or send someone to look for you. We'll see.
Now,
we'll
if
see.
you're in a jail cell because you killed somebody, don't send for me.
If I go fishing and I end up in a jail cell again because I followed your advice,
Then
Someone-
come find me.
yeah,
Promise.
All right.
I will get you out.
fine.
I have a way of throwing my weight around.
Fine. Hey, Zorg. I think we've got some adventuring to do. Talk later.
Have fun, boys.
Zorg will say to Secret before he leaves. Do you throw your weight around more than I throw my axe around?
Sometimes you just don't see it. Oh, and Frankie, don't do anything crazy.
Frankie's a good kid. Don't worry about him.
Zorg was
Gonna
going
look at him and just mouth the words and count again. Don't do anything crazy.
Zorg was going to teach people how to catch clubs with their teeth, but he didn't want to teach me for some reason.
Why are you catching clubs with your? Oh my god! Don't listen to him, please.
It was a secret
Ooh.
technique of the lizard man.
First off, I know that's not true. Second off, I'm not going any further than that. I say, looking at the door, desperately hoping that Brandon Steele walks in at this point. Or Pyre, or Stefan, or Quelkek, or anybody for that matter. So I don't have to make a joke about Ash eating fingers instead of clubs.
Nope, no one else is arriving at this time. It's just these guys.
All right,
for
well, I
right now.
still stop myself from making the joke, and I just look at Frankie and just again say, keep your teeth. Don't do anything crazy.
All right, Secret.
Ash tried to give him a finger earlier.
No.
He really needs to
Just
get
grabs
that.
both
Yeah. Like he just
grabs
says,
both sides of his head and just starts rubbing his temples like, oh my god, Dad, why?
yeah, that guy really needs to get that habit under control. I told him he's gonna get himself in trouble sooner or later.
Yes, he will, but go on, have fun. Learn how to be mercenaries. Rah. He tries to sound as unenthusiastic about that as possible.
All right. And now they leave. And at this point,
And I'll go back to waiting.
Okay.
Watching both entrances.
Secret, you do notice a guy wearing armor with a scar walk in through the door, but you have seen some scarred mercenaries before.
Can I tell what house he looks like he's working for?
Doesn't look like he's working for any house.
Like a local guard? Like a town guard as opposed to like a house guard?
Possibly just a mercenary.
Okay. I'll kind of... I mean, he's not with Brandon Steele, and he's not looking like he's stabbing anybody, so what am I going to do?
Okay.
Interrogate him?
Alright, so you look elsewhere.
For now.
You look elsewhere for now. Zorg, as you're showing the miners the adventuring boards and describing the various jobs, including, well, okay. Tour guide Zorg, what do you say? How do you pitch all the things? Because there's a variety of different jobs, physical and menial. Be the salesman.
You know, Zorg's gonna pitch in. You know, there's a lot of jobs where you can kill a few people. You know, there's a lot of blood to be shed, and there's a lot of money to be made. You know, robbery is a great way to make money.
Excuse me? Robbery's legal in beer?
Well, you know, just don't ever get caught. You know.
Yeah.
Fine,
Ash says, everything, it's only illegal if you get caught. And he rushes right up to Frankie as he says that.
I am never leaving the tune alone ever again if I find out about this ever again.
But other than that,
Go.
But other than that, you know, there's a few jobs like maintaining some plants, but I don't really know nothing about that. You know, plants aren't my forte. There's a few physical labor jobs that you probably would enjoy. But I recommend, you know, shedding some blood first. Shedding some blood's always a good way to start out.
And Drugel walks over to Frankie and he says, Frankie, don't listen to these two. Trust me, you don't want to do a bloody job first, and not only that, look, you were a pickpocket for a while. I'm sure it might sound nice that these people are reaffirming your previous life, but please don't go back to stealing again.
Zorg would Zorg hear this? Or is this a whisper?
He's just trying to whisper. You can make a perception roll if you're really curious about what he's trying to say.
Zorg will make that perception roll just you know. Dude, this map is way too huge. It's like slowing down my roll 20.
Here's
You said persuasion?
Yes. No. Perception.
Oh.
Well, what's your modifier? 3. So
Plus 3.
So
And 19.
19, yeah. All right. So yeah, you hear Drugel saying, "Hey, don't listen to him. Don't do that. Please don't go back into pickpocketing."
Frankie, listen, Frankie, listen up. You're light on your feet. You're small. You can be sneaky. It's a great way to make some money. Even Ash will tell you, look at him.
Drugel looks at Frankie and says, "You do what he says and I'm kicking you out, and you're back out on the streets. You got it? I'm not going to be supporting the crime." Okay, Drugel. Walking in from the northern entrance, you see Darren. Darren Stormwright walks in. Well. I hope you're not inciting crime or anything over here.
No, Darren, no. Nothing like that. We're just talking about some mercenary work, you know?
Good, because robbery is quite a terrible crime, you know.
Yeah, robbery.
It would be a shame if something were to happen to the militia training captain, you know. So please keep yourself out of trouble. I don't want you in jail for something as dumb as inciting crime or anything like that.
No, we never. We're law-abiding citizens.
Good. As long as we're clear and as long as you're not teaching questionable things to impressionable people.
Oh, no. That's a great way to get yourself in trouble.
Indeed, and you wouldn't get any of us in trouble, right?
No. You'd be crazy to think an orc would do something like that.
Yeah, I suppose I would be crazy thinking that.
But other than that, the militia training went pretty well. I found some talented young recruits.
Oh, it's very good. Are these the recruits in question?
Yeah. These five, or yeah, five, or four recruits plus Droogle.
Special forces can't count past 3. That kind of special forces, actually. He rode the short bus to war.
When Darren says, "Ah, well, I'm looking forward to working with all of you in the future." But, like I said, I hope all of you are on your best behaviors. I'm getting some shopping done to help get you some more resources for training the militia, and trying to see if I can squeeze more support out from Mr. Veer himself and Mr. Crown.
That'd be a very good idea.
What brings you all here, anyways?
Well, this is the Mercenary Guild, right?
Yes, this is the Adventurers Guild and the Town Hall.
We're signing these new recruits up to a few jobs, you know, get some experience.
Ah, good. Something fitting for greenhorns, I hope.
Yeah. No murder, no robbery, no nothing like that. More like physical labor.
Even though you were literally trying to hype them up to basically fight a Tarask 5 seconds ago.
Look, you need to
Zork
give them
can
the
be
confidence.
deceitful, alright.
You need to give them confidence. They need to fake it till they make it, you know?
Nah, God.
It worked for Zorg, alright.
Yeah, I can see that. Didn't work for his numbers.
Well, Zorg didn't need numbers when he was slicing people up.
All you need to know is -1, okay?
Scratch 1.
Zorg remembers squads, battalions, legions, and that's about it.
Yes, one is bigger than the other.
And if you take down a bunch of them, you'll get some awards.
Alright, he
The
says,
fucked up part. No, go ahead, sorry.
Darren says, well, if all of you are looking for a little bit of employment, I have a job for you guys.
Nothing too hard, I'd hope.
No, it's just a transportation job. I need to make sure grain supplies and other basic necessities are in good order. We need to
There's
build
no
up a
risk
big
to this job?
No risk? No, certainly not. All of these supplies are gathered through legal means. All you need to do is just transport them to the stockpile. At the very least, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like there should be any trouble.
Do you have any paperwork or anything for this?
Yes. If you all are down for the job, then we can sign up over here. Though I understand if any of you are busy. The job will happen right away. So if you have anything you need to do, then feel free to let me know.
Zorg will have to bow out of this one. He will let the new recruits and Drew will work together on this one.
Very well. And he waves over the rest of the recruits to the help desk nearby. And he says, Just say that you're taking on a job for Darren Stormright. There's only one job up on the listing, and right after you get the paperwork, just meet me out front of the building. Zorg, I heard you were participating in the Tournament of Steel with a group of people. I have to say, the Dysfunctionals is certainly a unique name. Though, to be honest, your lineup does seem like a setup to a pretty bad joke. A bishop,
You know,
a demigod, a champion, an ex-soldier, and a wizard all walk into a bar. I ducked. But Tish.
our team is a little unusual, you could say.
Yes, but
I-
so are all the other mercenary teams. That's just the beauty of Veer, isn't it?
Indeed. What do you think about this upcoming tournament?
This upcoming tournament? If I were to be brutally honest, it's just a waste of time. It's just a bunch of men throwing their egos around. I have more important things to be doing. I'm sure you know. But, not to say that you shouldn't enjoy yourself, because you have a lot of work ahead of you. So, he pats you on the shoulder. It's good to take the chance to unwind and enjoy the festival while you can. I'm a busybody, a workaholic. I can't stand standing still and not progressing in any job or anything like that.
You know, that does sound like a good way to live your life.
Yes, it's the only way that I've lived my life, though I suppose that's probably common for soldiers like us.
You know, we always like to keep busy. There's never enough to do.
Maybe it's a side effect from all that daily training. Always having to do stuff. But
You know, I
will...
think it keeps
Go.
keeps the mind sharp, though.
Yep. Keeps your mind focused on whatever goal you set in front of you. And we have a lot of goals later in the future, not now. But I wish you luck on your tournament. Unless there's anything you want to ask him. If you want to speak with him about anything, then you can feel free to throw out that question. Otherwise, he's gonna say his goodbyes and leave.
I'll let him say his goodbyes and leave. And Zorg will think to himself that maybe maybe Secret will finally give him some appreciation for not leaving him to dry.
Yeah, if when he finds out, maybe. I don't think he heard any of that.
No, he wouldn't have.
And he says, I wish you luck on your tournament, and I'll be seeing you. And the other miners are catching up to him as all of them leave the building. And they will likely all walk right past you, Secret.
I'll just let them go for now. Again, because I don't know who that is.
Yep.
I mean, I noticed a scarred mercenary, but listen, there's like a million of them.
Yep. Million scarred old mercenaries. Alright. Let me think. So at this point, would that take a while? We've got 19 minutes left in the session. You know what? I think we can. Let's go back to the timeline. Which entrance? That entrance. Okay. Let's move all of them over. And I don't have enough space on the northern side, so I'll have to move them slowly. Secret, while you're on the lookout, coming from the northern entrance, you can see Vanessa Steele. And presumably behind her is her heir and son, Brandon Steele.
Brandon Steele?
Yep. Two war constructs walk in carrying a big metal safe. And you actually
If I kind of reach... Yeah, if I reach my hand in my pocket, do I get the feeling? Does it react?
your hair is beginning to stand up a little bit, and you feel a little bit of static as they start walking closer. You also notice the two mercenary guards right behind Brandon Steele. You actually recognize them. They
From
are
the vision?
from the vision, and also because you've actually seen them before. These are Jacques and Grims.
Are you talking about, are these ones the ones from the mine?
Yes, these are the two from the mine.
Wait, are these the guys who showed up after we've discovered the dead bodies and they totally acted like they didn't know anything, even though we're pretty
No.
sure they knew based off of our... No?
No, these were the guys who you sent. So they, after you scared all of the guards and miners off by saying that there were army ants in the mine, these two guys showed up, and then you convinced them to go down. To
Oh, these are the
basically
brave guys.
Yeah, these two are the brave guys who went down into the mines, helped you guys out, and you gave them commendations to the House of Steel.
And if I squint, these look like the uniforms that stabbed. Like, are they roughly the right size
Yes.
of people? Oh no.
And they know
Okay, I'm gonna go intercept.
you're gonna walk closer. Your hair
Mhm.
begins
I'm gonna
standing on edge a lot more as you come closer.
Ah! Vanessa Steele. I'll bow.
Vanessa Steele.
You said her name
Yes,
was Vanessa,
and-
right?
Yep, that's her name.
Yeah.
Vanessa Steele.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm really bad with names half the time.
In the
Bones
flesh.
is worse.
Yeah, he
I-
is.
It's part of the reason why I tried to pick standard like common American or English names, something that we would see every day, just to make them very common, so you don't need to remember
Hey,
something
listen,
complicated.
I'll still forget Jack. John Wild, Jermaine Wild. But yeah, Vanessa Steele, I'll give her a polite bow.
Ah,
I
secret.
don't believe we. Oh,
Oh wait,
My
she wouldn't know.
reputation
She wouldn't know.
precedes
She
me.
wouldn't know. She wouldn't know.
Oh, she-
she would know.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking. Greetings, and you are?
I apologize. I didn't mean to leave you at a disadvantage. My name is I am Secret Dream, son of Sirkava, seer of the Church of Sirkava.
As you say that and walk into range, you feel, as you say that and walk into range, lightning shoots out of your cloak from where you have the lightning shard, and it goes directly towards Brandon Steele. And Brandon
What?
Steele and then Brandon Steele, you just see him just get electrocuted.
Really?
And he falls to the ground, smoking. And
Really? I'm gonna blink a few times to make sure I'm not having a vision, and or this actually happened.
you blink a few times, he's on the ground, he's smoking. Vanessa looks back at her fallen son, looks back at you.
Move. Move. I know what happened. Okay. Is he dead? Or do I have time to healing word him?
He seems to be breathing. You can healing word him.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna tell her to move back as I move back, because I realize what happened. I'm going to cast healing word on him to get him back up.
What just happened?
It appears your vault is not as secure as I had hoped. Come with me now, both of you.
Persuasion roll.
I'm not good at these. All right, here we go. 13. I guess it could have been worse. That's still above average for me.
Roll again, because rushing out from the
Might-
third floor onto the spiral staircase, you see Nathaniel veer overhead, and he goes, "No, everyone, arms down. Keep your weapons down. Trust me, it's a malfunction. It can be perfectly explained. Everyone, keep calm." Roll persuasion roll again.
Hoping not to have that happen so fast, but how about a nat 20?
Okay. And Mr. Veer sprints all the way down to the first floor. Sorry, terribly, terribly, terribly sorry. Miss.
It's his father said they would be. I'm gonna look at him.
Miss Steele. Glad to see that you're here. Now, no need for alarm.
Cast that because I forgot to cast it, so he gets 8 HP back, and I used the spell slot.
Now, he walks up to Miss Veer, and he's in the middle of explaining. The two guards they start start going through basic motions like, all right, Brandon, how many fingers am I holding up? He holds up 4 and goes, 5? Oh, it might have affected your head a little bit too. The other guard, he walks up to you and says, and he says, now, I know you're happy to see us, but you really don't need to start shooting electricity out at people.
As I said, I will explain what happened, but it has to do with what's in that vault. I don't think I am at liberty to discuss out here. But it is a serious matter. And I will say that was not my intention. I was actually coming to introduce myself before the meeting.
The matriarch Steele, she looks like she's having a migraine. Goes, very well, I'll let you explain what happened up in the meeting room. Come.
Can we go
let's
there
go.
now, please? Sooner rather than later.
Let's go. Brandon,
Okay.
are
Do
you
I-
able to walk? You two just go on without me.
I will make sure that the church
office.
gets him the best healer. As that is my fault. And I was not anticipating that would happen.
Jacques and Grims, they put one of his arms over each of their shoulders, and they start carrying him off upstairs as well, likely to the House of Steel's office.
Back up just to make sure it doesn't happen again, just slightly.
Well, one of the guards speaks. Jacques speaks. Well, that's certainly one way to start off your morning. Hopefully we aren't in for any other terrible surprises this morning.
Secret looks like this could actually be a benefit to him, as he's just realizing now that he might have just taken 2 things out of the equation. Even completely by accident. I'm gonna look at Nathaniel. I spoke to him in Celestial before last time we met, didn't I?
I don't actually remember. I don't think so. I don't think Celestial...
Do I know if he speaks it?
Actually, he might speak Celestial with his history. Yeah, well, if he didn't speak Celestial, we'll just say he does speak Celestial.
Okay. In Celestial, I'm gonna look at him and say, that actually might have worked to eliminate my vision. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, maybe it worked in your advantage and made you relieved, but
I did not mean to make you need to change pants, Lord Fear.
I would ask you to give a word of warning before you go in electrocuting people, but I know you likely can't help it.
That one was an accident. I did not expect it to react like that. I honestly was just coming to introduce myself. I promise I will explain the situation and I will clear your name of this, as you had nothing to do with it.
At this point, Vanessa is already all the way up the stairs into the 3rd floor meeting room. Says, I'll go get Miss Cinders, and well, actually, he asks, would you like the other houses to wait until the actual meeting time, and while you explain the situation?
Let me
to
at least explain
her?
the situation to her privately, just because I get the feeling she probably knows more than the others. I'm sure she's done a lot more studying about this than she'll let on. But I will be honest and open because I am here to make friends, not enemies.
For right now, I'll accompany you. So
Okay,
that at least it gives us an.
Perhaps it
an
is
error.
wise temporarily. Can you have someone you trust watch along with them for the vault? It might not be best to have that in the room until I explain the situation. Though I don't know if that'll happen again. And I can't just leave this shard somewhere else.
Very well. Very well. And he goes to talk to the light archer, the guard in the white raiment, and he says, "Hey, come with us for a moment." And effectively, you guys do explain the situation. The situation.
I'll even
She
show her the
seems-
shard. Like, look, I'm not bluffing. We're going to talk about this at the meeting, but like, I know what you have in there because this reacted.
It reacted. All right. We're going to have to save this big conversation later, and just before we close, we'll just have a little bit of NPC interaction as well, because as Brandon Steele is brought up the spiral staircase, I just noticed that the House of Steel, I noticed that the House of Steel office is actually on the 3rd floor, so he's going to be up there as well in the Steel Quadrant. He actually makes eye contact with Winston Berg, and Winston Berg, he goes, and he sprints the other way. Hey, who is that? Was that Winston? Oh gosh. I really wish you could just sit still and speak with me, but not right now. Guys, just bring me up to the room. I need to lie down. And Winston Berg sprints back down the stairs, and he enters into some closed doors.
Does that happen in front of us? Like, would we have seen that in the meeting room?
You likely would have heard that as you were making your way up the spiral staircase. It might have been a little bit behind you, so you probably could have looked down from the spiral staircase and seen Winston just freak out and run.
I'm gonna look over at Nathaniel and say, just a quick and say, somebody needs to watch him, assuming.
Someone besides their private security?
Yes.
They-
Preferably somebody you trust.
Hmm.
I know we have to be here at the meeting.
That could be... well, there's one guy I kind of trust here. And he does leave to go get one of the green security guards to go try to find Winston Steele. Okay.
Okay. And again, I'll apologize to Vanessa. Like, look, wasn't supposed to happen, but I know what you have in there because, ta-da! That's why I'm here.
And she basically asks, well, I guess we'll save that for the next
Yeah,
session
sure.
since we're basically at game time.
I just wanted to get across to her that I'm like not trying to kill her son. That's the important part.
Yep. Boy, oh boy. Some plans were ruined, but I don't think it was Stefan ruining
Some-
your plans.
Yeah, on the one hand, some plans are ruined. On the other hand, in a weird way, this could work to my benefit. Because now Vanessa can see just how fucking dangerous these stones are. And it might make her more willing to give them up. To give it up.
Possibly.
Because if that
Possibly.
could happen on accident, you know.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping we can make it work to the favor as well.
All right. But things certainly are interesting.
I will see you guys next session. It was good talking to you guys.
Yeah, it was.
See you guys then.
'Cause,
See you guys next week.
uh,
See you guys.
Yep. Take care.